Chapter 1708. Genius 1, Second Remember Love, Go/Small. Say, providing you with wonderful novels to read. The stars were bright and sparkling. As far as the eye could see, there was no end to it. The mirror image avatar steered the Royal Sky Tribe's battleship and sailed rapidly in the endless starry sky. Gradually, they met a huge battleship. Looking at the battle flag hanging on the battleship in the distance, Yi Qinfeng's mirror image avatar, who possessed part of his intelligence, revealed a cold smile. He steered the Royal Sky Tribe's battleship and rushed over quickly. Seventh Elder, the Royal Sky Tribe's battleship is approaching us. The expert from the Divine Sky Tribe who was steering the battleship saw the Royal Sky Tribe's battleship speeding over and was surprised. He immediately reported the news to the Seventh Elder. The Royal Sky Tribe's battleship? Didn't they return to the Void God world before us? The Seventh Elder, who was sitting in a luxurious cabin and enjoying the massage of two pretty ladies, opened his eyes and revealed a surprised expression. Seventh Elder, the Royal Sky Tribe's battleship is going to crash into us. Just as the Seventh Elder revealed a puzzled expression, he received another important piece of news. He suddenly stood up from the soft rocking chair. When the Seventh Elder and the others hurriedly appeared on the deck, Yi Qinfeng's mirror image avatar steered the battleship and crashed into them. The terrifying collision broke the defense of the Royal Sky Tribe's battleship and smashed the bow of the ship and many experts from the Royal Sky Tribe who couldn't dodge in time. Yi Qinfeng, when the Seventh Elder and the others hurriedly dodged to the side, he saw Yi Qinfeng's silhouette in the heavily damaged battleship of the Imperial Sky Clan. He was instantly enraged and sent out a terrifying gigantic palm that blotted out the sky, grabbing towards Yi Qinfeng. Gotcha! Yi Qinfeng's mirror image avatar was caught by the giant hand and shattered. Mirror image, another mirror image. Yi Qinfeng, if I don't kill you, I swear I'm not human. After being tricked by Yi Qinfeng again, the Seventh Elder, who had destroyed the battleship, was furious and roared furiously under the endless starry sky. At the same time, Yi Qinfeng, who was hiding in the universe mirror, revealed a cold smile. God Sky Clan, I hope you will be satisfied with this gift of mine. Yi Qinfeng murmured as he continued to refine the Desolate Stone and the primitive embryo of Tao that he had obtained from killing Huang Wutian. If he could absorb these two great treasures, Yi Qinfeng's power would be greatly improved, especially the original embryo of Tao, which had great potential. It would become one of his trump cards in the future. Time flew by, and 3 years passed quickly. 3 years in the outside world was equivalent to 60 years for Yi Qinfeng in the fourth level of the universe realm. During these 60 years, Yi Qinfeng completely refined the Desolate Stone and the primordial Tao embryo, allowing him to experience the power of these two supreme treasures. The primordial Tao embryo, in particular, gave him endless imagination. How do I improve the strength of the primitive embryo of Tao? Yi Qinfeng had been searching the memories in God Dieter's mind for information about the original embryo of Tao. After searching for over a day, Yi Qinfeng found a way to improve the power of his original embryo of Tao from the memories of the brain. Fusing with the heaven vein or the ancestral vein can increase the power of the original embryo of Tao. Yi Qinfeng's eyes lit up as he brought the original embryo of Tao to one of the ancestral veins in the fourth level of the universe realm and tried to let the embryo of Tao fuse with the ancestral vein. When the embryo of Tao opened all of its acupoints and started to devour, the power of the ancestral vein in the fourth level of the universe realm was rapidly depleted, while the embryo of Tao's strength was increasing steadily. Love go little say net Chu, however, as the embryo of Tao continued to devour the ancestral vein. The spirituality in the fourth level of the universe realm was rapidly depleted, and many rare spiritual beings in the fourth level of the universe realm started to wither. Therefore, Yi Qinfeng did not dare to let the embryo of Tao continue to devour the ancestral vein in order to avoid damaging the precious spiritual beings. It's time to return to the Heaven Realm and settle the score with the Eternal Heaven Palace, Green Sky Clan, and Sky Clan. After confirming that the ancestral vein could accelerate the growth of the primitive embryo of Tao, Yi Qinfeng planned to rob the ancestral veins from the few superpowers that wanted to kill him. Swish! A beam of light streaked across the starry sky and flew towards the Qian domain at an extremely fast speed. However, the alien battlefield was too vast. Even with Yi Qinfeng's speed, it would still take him more than a year to fly back to the Qian domain. While Yi Qinfeng was flying towards the heaven realm, he saw a black battleship in front of him. He immediately sped up and flew towards it. A battleship of the Ghost Clan. Looking at the battle flag hanging on the battleship, Yi Qinfeng slightly curved up the corners of his mouth as he sped up and flew over. Break! Catching up with the battleship of the Ghost Clan with his absolute speed, Yi Qinfeng threw a punch and broke the defense of the battleship of the Ghost Clan. He entered the battleship and alerted the powerful Ghost Clan cultivators on the battleship. They all showed up on the deck and surrounded Yi Qinfeng. Yi Qinfeng, seeing the energetic young man in a white martial arts suit, Gui Shaodi, who was defeated by Yi Qinfeng before, immediately recognized him. Why are you here? Why are you surprised? Yi Qinfeng smiled and said, Why can't I be here? Why did you leave the 100 Battle City after such a long time? Seems like you have a plan. Yi Qinfeng, we Ghost Clan don't think we have offended you. You'd better not have any ideas about us. The leader of the Ghost Clan, one-star Ghost Immortal Gui Yu, said in a low voice. He was wearing a skeleton robe, and his eyes were sunken into his cheeks. His body was emitting a dense death qi. What? Are you afraid now? Yi Qinfeng smiled and said, When you Celestial and Devil Clan surrounded me and wanted to kill me, did you not think about the consequences? Yi Qinfeng, do you really think we Ghost Clan are afraid of you? Gui Shaodi said angrily. All right, cut the crap. All of you come at me together. Yi Qinfeng summoned the primitive Tao fetus and said domineeringly, Primitive Tao fetus, why do you have one? Gui Yu, Gui Shaodi, and the others were shocked to see Yi Qinfeng's primitive Tao fetus. Of course, Huang Wuqian gave it to me. Yi Qinfeng smiled and said, As for why he gave it to me, you can ask him when you go to hell. You killed Huang Wuqian. Gui Shaodi and the others couldn't believe what they had just heard. A deep sense of uneasiness rose in their hearts. Whoosh! Just as Gui Shaodi and the others started to panic, a piercing sound rang out. Yi Qinfeng and the primitive Tao embryo attacked Gui Shaodi and the others together. The Ghost Clan as a whole was not strong. Their strongest leader, Gui Yu, was only a one-star Ghost Immortal and was far from being a match for the primitive Tao fetus. The primitive Tao fetus swung its halberd and sent Gui Yu flying. He was severely injured. Gui Shaodi, fight me like a man. When Yi Qinfeng saw that Gui Shaodi was trying to escape, he roared and slashed at him with a demon sealing sword. When Yi Qinfeng merged with the divine blood bead, desolation stone, and chaos essence bead, his strength instantly reached the 2-star Tao God level. His ferocious attacks forced Gui Shaodi back. Yi Qinfeng, my Ghost Clan really doesn't want to be your enemy. Please be magnanimous and spare us. As long as you are willing to let us go, my Ghost Clan guarantees that we will never provoke you again. After fighting Yi Qinfeng again, Gui Shaodi found that he had grown to a level he could only look up to. He no longer had the will to fight and had to beg for mercy in order to survive. Not interested, Yi Qinfeng said emotionlessly. He activated more than 300 ancestral runes and slashed Gui Shaodi's weapon in half. While Yi Qinfeng was killing Gui Shaodi, the primitive Tao fetus relied on its absolute strength to suppress the myriad ghost portrait and kill Gui Yu. The death of the 2 strongest Ghost Clan members frightened the rest of the Ghost Clan and made them run for their lives. Kill! At this time, Yi Qinfeng summoned all of his helpers and attacked the Ghost Clan members. A merciless massacre took place on the Ghost Warship. Under the bloody attacks of the God-Fiend Torch Dragon and the others, the Ghost Clan members were all killed. P.S. I will post a picture of Mama Yi in the Holy Jade Sky this weekend. Friends who want to see it can add me on WeChat. Read a better reading experience. Chapter 1709. Geniuses remember love divided by go. Say to provide you with wonderful novels to read. The eternal celestial palace was an absolute overlord in the region of nihility. It occupied the best cultivation resources in the region of nihility, and no power could shake the eternal celestial palace's position in the region of nihility. Love go little say, Netchu huff. I've finally returned to the region of nihility. After flying for over a year on the ghost warship, Yi Chen-feng left the chaotic Outerium battlefield and returned to the region of nihility. When Yi Chen-feng left the region of nihility, he'd been pursued by Tianji Dao and the others, and he'd fled in panic. Now that he'd returned, Yi Chen-feng's strength had grown to a level that Tianji Dao and the others could only look up to. The reason his cultivation speed was so shocking was mainly because of his primordial bloodline. He possessed one of the best bloodlines in the universe, so the difficulty of his cultivation was far lower than ordinary people. Most importantly, the primordial bloodline had practically transformed his body to perfection, and the bottlenecks in his cultivation were much weaker than ordinary people. That was why he'd been able to break through into the peak of the 6-star Downlord realm in such a short period of time. How many heavenly crystals do we need to head to Eternal Celestial City? Yi Chen-feng and Xia Wendy arrived outside a spatial wormhole in an enormous city in the region of nihility, and they gazed at a white-haired old man who was guarding the spatial wormhole. Do you have an invitation? The white-haired old man glanced at Yi Chen-feng and Xia Wendy, who'd concealed their strength, and asked in a low voice, Invitation? Do we need an invitation to head to Eternal Celestial City? Yi Chen-feng frowned slightly and asked in a low voice, Exactly. The palace master of my Eternal Celestial Palace has just broken through into the 1-star Tao God realm, and he'll be holding a banquet for all the experts in the palace to celebrate. For the sake of avoiding chaos, those without an invitation aren't allowed to enter Eternal Celestial City, said the white-haired old man. Understand. Yi Chen-feng nodded, and then a large amount of illusion Tao insight instantly shot out from his eyes and poured into the white-haired old man's eyes. It instantly caused illusions to appear in the old man's mind and take control of his mind and consciousness. In the next moment, Yi Chen-feng's irresistible voice resounded within his soul sea. This way, please. The white-haired old man's consciousness was controlled by Yi Chen-feng. He respectfully led the two of them to the wormhole and arranged their positions. All right, there's nothing for you to do here. You can leave now. After successfully boarding the spatial wheel to Eternal Heaven City, Yi Chen-feng ordered the white-haired old man to leave. Soon, the wheel of space began to transmit space. Bored to death, the two people sealed off the room and began to whisper sweet nothings to each other. They began to cultivate the 36 styles of acacia. Joyous sounds filled the air as they intimately mixed together, constantly writing a chapter of love. Around 10 days later, Yi Chen-feng and Xia Wendy, who looked like a golden couple, got off the space wheel and arrived at the core city of the Nihility Zone, Eternal Heaven City. How extravagant! The Eternal Heaven Palace actually built the Eternal Heaven City in midair. After entering the Eternal Heaven Palace, which was suspended on the ground and shrouded in powerful restrictions, Yi Chen-feng couldn't help but sigh at the extravagance of the Eternal Heaven Palace. Just supporting the suspension of the Eternal Heaven City required a large amount of resources. Chen-feng, do we need to get 2 invitations first? Xia Wendy, whose cheeks were rosy and exuded an enchanting charm, gently hugged Yi Chen-feng's arm and asked, We're here to take revenge, not to congratulate. We don't need invitations. Yi Chen-feng smiled faintly, his voice filled with killing intent. With his current strength and foundation, he could even kill a 4-star Tao God. Moreover, he had the divine demon torch dragon at the Cosmos realm. He didn't care about the Eternal Heaven Palace anymore. All right, Xia Wendy smiled and said, Should we find a place to stay or walk around? Let's walk around. Maybe there won't be an Eternal Heaven City in the future. After saying that, Yi Chen-feng took Xia Wendy to walk around the Eternal Heaven Palace, which was filled with beautiful scenery and towering buildings. The two of them walked around happily until evening. Then they came to an inn built by the lake and bathed in spiritual fog. They walked in and prepared to rest. "I'm sorry, but our inn has been booked by the Green Sky Clan. You'd better find a place to stay." Just as they walked into the quaint and elegant inn, a charming young woman in a phoenix-patterned cheongsam walked out and said apologetically, "It doesn't matter. Just arrange the best room for us. If the people of the Green Sky Clan find trouble with you, ask them to find me." Yi Chen-feng said lightly. He liked the environment of the inn very much and didn't want to change places. The charming young woman glanced at Yi Chen-feng. She couldn't figure out his background and hesitated. "How about this? You two wait here for a moment. I'll go and report. If the seniors of the Green Sky Clan are willing, I'll arrange a first-class room for you immediately." "Okay." Yi Chen-feng nodded and sat in the lobby with Xiao Wendy. They chatted and waited. Damn it, where did this bastard come from? How dare he order the Green Sky Clan? After a while, an angry roar was heard. 3 disciples of the Green Sky Clan in dark blue robes appeared in the lobby with angry faces. When the 3 of them saw Xia Wendy, they immediately felt as if they were looking at a celestial being. Their eyes lit up, revealing a trace of infatuation. "You want to live here?" A tall, fair-skinned disciple of the Green Sky Clan who thought he was good-looking smiled arrogantly. He looked at Xia Wendy's pretty face, which was even more beautiful than fairy Xia Wendy. "That's right." Yi Chen-feng nodded and said, "She can live here. Get out of here as far as you can. Otherwise, I'll twist off your head." The disciple of the Green Sky Clan changed his expression instantly. He looked at Yi Chen-feng coldly and ordered without any resistance. Bang! As soon as he finished his words, he suddenly felt that there were wrinkles in the space in front of him. A palm radiance that penetrated the space hit his cheek hard and sent him flying. He fell heavily at the door of the inn. A lot of blood and several broken teeth fell to the ground. "You're courting death." The Green Sky Clan was the absolute overlord in the Qingyun realm. Few people dared to humiliate them. Seeing that their companion was sent flying by Yi Chen-feng, the remaining 2 disciples of the Green Sky Clan immediately summoned powerful True Spirit Holy Treasures and attacked Yi Chen-feng. You think you can do that?" Yi Chen-feng snorted coldly. The will of the way in his body burst forth and turned into a terrifying giant hand of will of the way. It grabbed the 2 sacred True Spirit treasures that were attacking him. The next moment, Yi Chen-feng's hand suddenly exerted force. The horrible force broke the 2 True Spirit Holy Treasures and shocked everyone. "Who are you? Why did you hurt the disciple of the Green Sky Clan and show off here?" At this time, a deep voice was heard. A powerful figure in a dark gray robe who had reached the 3-star Heaven Master realm appeared in the lobby. He looked at Yi Chen-feng coldly and said coldly, "Who do you think I am?" Yi Chen-feng sat in the armchair and looked at the powerful figure of the Green Sky Clan in silence with a faint smile. "I don't care who you are. You hurt the disciple of the Green Sky Clan. You have to give us an explanation." The powerful figure of the Green Sky Clan said overbearingly. "Explanation?" Yi Chen-feng smiled and said, "What do you think of this explanation?" As he spoke, Yi Chen-feng took out a dark golden token with an ancient seal character engraved on it from the universal mirror and threw it to the powerful figure of the Green Sky Clan. Imperial Heavenly Ancient Token. After receiving the token thrown by Yi Chen-feng, the powerful figure of the Green Sky Clan changed his expression instantly. He looked at Yi Chen-feng, and the anger on his face disappeared. It was replaced by deep fear and respect. The Imperial Heavenly Ancient Token was a unique token of the Imperial Heavenly Clan. Only the direct disciples of the Imperial Heavenly Clan could have it. Although the Green Sky Clan was not a branch of the Imperial Heavenly Clan, the Imperial Heavenly Clan and the Divine Sky Clan were of the same origin. Seeing that Yi Chen-feng had the Imperial Heavenly Ancient Token, the powerful figure of the Green Sky Clan was afraid. However, he did not know that the Imperial Heavenly Ancient Token was obtained by Yi Chen-feng after he killed Huang Wutian. "I didn't know your identity. Please forgive me if I offended you." The powerful figure of the Green Sky Clan bowed deeply to Yi Chen-feng. He held the Imperial Heavenly Ancient Token with both hands and returned it to Yi Chen-feng. The three of them made me very angry. How do you think I should punish you? Yi Chen-feng looked at the three disciples of the Green Sky clan who were scared silly, and his voice suddenly turned cold. What are you waiting for? Kowtow and apologize to the young master. Not to mention them, even the leader of the Green Sky clan, Tianji Dao, could not afford to offend the direct disciples of the Imperial Heavenly Clan. The powerful figure of the Green Sky clan sensed the seriousness of the situation and gave an irresistible order. I'm sorry, young master. We didn't know your identity. Please forgive us. With that, the three of them endured the humiliation in their hearts and slapped their faces in front of everyone. They prayed that Yi Chen-feng would forgive them. All right. Now we are qualified to stay here. Yi Chen-feng looked at the three of them who were blushing and said coldly, Yes, I have the best room for the two of you. The powerful figure of the Green Sky clan secretly heaved a sigh of relief and personally arranged for Yi Chen-feng and Tianji Dao to rest in the best room in the inn. Reading, a better reading experience. Chapter 17:10. A genius remembers in a second. Love goes to love divided by small. Say, provide you with wonderful novels to read. Fourth Elder, are they really from the Imperial Sky clan? After quietly leaving Yi Chen-feng's room, the Green Sky clan disciple who had half of his face smashed by Yi Chen-feng and blood flowing out of his mouth asked suspiciously. Not everyone can have the Imperial Heavenly Ancient Token. His possession of the Imperial Heavenly Ancient Token is enough to prove his identity. The Almighty of the Green Sky clan said with lingering fear. What should we do now? The disciple of the Green Sky clan asked worriedly. Should we inform the clan leader? It's not a small matter for a direct disciple of the Imperial Sky clan to come to the Eternal Region. We must inform the clan leader and ask him to make a decision. The Almighty of the Green Sky clan said solemnly. Fourth Elder, when you inform the clan leader, can you not mention that we had a conflict with him? The three disciples of the Green Sky clan pleaded. If Tianji Dao knew that they had offended a direct disciple of the Imperial Sky clan, he would not spare them. You guys. The fourth elder shook his head and said, I can keep it a secret, but you'd better pray that he won't find trouble with you. The night passed quickly. After a night's rest, Yi Chen-feng and Tianji Dao left the inn early the next morning and continued to tour the Eternal Heaven Palace. While they were strolling around the Eternal Celestial Palace, the Green Sky clan had sent many people to protect them in secret to prevent anyone from disturbing them. After a day of touring, Yi Chen-feng and Tianji Dao returned to the inn in a good mood and met the fourth elder of the Green Sky clan. In addition to the fourth elder of the Green Sky clan, they also met a familiar person. It was the number one genius of the Green Sky clan, Tian Yun. You two are in a good mood. I'm Tian Yun. Greetings. Tian Yun, who was wearing a white robe and had an extraordinary bearing, stood up and said with a faint smile. Tian Yun, the number one genius of the Green Sky clan. Looking at Tian Yun, who had been defeated by Yu Yeming, Yi Chen-feng said with a faint smile. It's just a false reputation. It's not enough for you. Tian Yun said modestly, but he could not help but show a trace of pride. You're right. The Heaven region is the Heaven region. Your strength can only be considered ordinary in the Heaven Imperial clan. Yi Chen-feng's unceremonious slap to the face made Tian Yun very angry, but he didn't dare to do anything. He could only grit his teeth and swallow his anger. Why are you not convinced? Yi Chen-feng took in Tian Yun's expression. He smiled faintly and said, How about this? If you can block one of my punches without retreating, I will take back my earlier words. Young master, you must be joking. How could Tian Yun be a match for young master? The fourth patriarch of the Green Sky clan sensed that the atmosphere was not right, so he immediately stood out to smooth things over. You can't say that. I don't believe that the number one genius of the Azure Sky clan doesn't even have the courage to block one of my punches. Yi Chen-feng said without giving up. Since young master is interested, Tian Yun will accompany you. Tian Yun was ranked 8th in the 100 battles martial competition that had just ended. He also wanted to see just how strong a direct descendant of the Imperial Celestial clan was. That's more like it. Yi Chenfeng smiled. He suddenly took a step forward, shattering a large piece of the hard floor as he punched out at Tianyun. As he punched out, the air in front of Yi Chenfeng constantly exploded. The strength of his fist made Tianyun feel suffocated. When Yi Chenfeng's fist landed on Tianyun's palms, Yi Chenfeng instantly fused with the Desolate stone, doubling his strength. Over 40 billion genes of strength shattered Tianyun's defenses and blasted into his arms. With a single punch, Yi Chenfeng sent Tianyun flying, smashing into a distant stone wall with a golden dragon carved on it. The number one genius of the Azure Sky clan is only SOSO. How disappointing! After sending Tianyun flying with a single punch, Yi Chenfeng revealed a mocking expression as he spoke with disdain. My Azure Sky clan is convinced by young master's might. The fourth elder of the Azure Sky clan didn't expect Yi Chenfeng's strength to be so terrifying that Tianyun couldn't even withstand a single punch. His face slightly changed as he spoke in awe. All right, stop flattering me. Let me ask you, when will the banquet of the Eternal Heaven Palace be held? Yi Chenfeng asked without a trace of emotion. The day after tomorrow, the fourth elder said in awe. All right, then I'll go with you to the Eternal Heaven Palace to see how strong the number one force of the Nihility region is. After saying that, Yi Chenfeng held Xia Wendy's soft and smooth hand. Under Tianyun's furious gaze, they returned to their room to rest. 2 days passed in a flash. On the morning of the third day, Yi Chenfeng and Xia Wendy followed the fourth elder of the Azure Sky clan and Tianyun to the Eternal Heaven Palace in the chariot pulled by the Cyan Wan. At this moment, Tianyun seemed to have forgotten the unhappiness of the day before. He kept trying to get close to Yi Chenfeng and Xia Wendy. However, what he got in return was ruthless attacks from Yi Chenfeng, which made him quite annoyed and depressed. The zone of Nihility was extremely vast, and there were countless sections. In order to please Songmang, almost all the sect leaders of the sects came with gifts to congratulate him. This included the Misty Heavens sect. This time, the sect leader of the Misty Heavens sect, Yu Xian, came with Shui Yishuan and Feng Mulan to congratulate him. Because of a universe ring given by the Sword Spirit, Yu Xian and Shui Yishuan had both broken through to the one-star Dao Lord realm. Grand Elder Feng Mulan was only one step away from becoming a one-star Dao Lord. It could be said that the Misty Heavens sect had undergone earth-shaking changes in just a little over 10 years, and its strength had improved tremendously. The Misty Heavens sect is here to congratulate you. A loud voice resounded in the joyous Eternal Heaven Palace. Under the guidance of a disciple of the Eternal Heaven Palace, Yu Xian and the others came to the magnificent hall to congratulate Song Mang on his breakthrough to the one-star Dao God realm. Palace Master Tsong, congratulations on your breakthrough to the Dao God realm. Now, the overall strength of the zone of Nihility has become even stronger. Yu Xian placed the gifts he brought on the ground and congratulated him. I like hearing that. I just don't know if sect leader Yu is telling the truth or not. Song Mang said with a meaningful smile. I'm telling the truth. Yu Xian's expression changed slightly as he sensed a trace of hostility. The Misty Heaven sect has always followed the lead of the Eternal Heaven Palace. Naturally, we hope that the Eternal Heaven Palace will become stronger and stronger. All right, then I'll believe you, Song Mang said with a smile. Then, he looked at the cold and beautiful Shui Xuan and said, Sect leader Yu, I have a presumptuous request. I wonder if you'll agree to it? Please say it, Palace Master Tsong. As long as it's within my ability, I'll definitely agree. Yu Xian knew that Song Mang was dissatisfied with the rapid development of the Misty Heaven sect over the past few years. He had been trying to eliminate Yu Xian's hostility. I like Shui Xuan very much. I want to take her as my concubine. I wonder if you'll agree? Song Mang said directly. This, as soon as Song Mang finished speaking, Yu Xian, Shui Yishuan, and the others' expressions changed. Shui Yishuan's face was filled with anger. If it weren't for Song Mang's terrifying strength and her scruples, she would have already turned hostile. What? You don't agree? Song Mang smiled and said aggressively, Sect leader you just said that you'll agree to my request. Now, you're going back on your word. It seems that you don't take the eternal heaven palace seriously. Then, I'll be treated like a monkey. Reading, a better reading experience. Chapter 17:11. A genius remembers in 1 second. Love, go/small. Say, I will provide you with interesting novels to read. Palace mastered song, I wouldn't dare to trick you. However, Yishuan means a lot to the ethereal heaven sect. I would like to hand the ethereal heaven sect over to her in the near future. Forgive me for not being able to make the decision for her marriage. Yuxian did not expect Song Meng to make such an unreasonable request. Although he was furious, he did not dare to do anything. Palace Master Yu, are you saying that I am not good enough for Shui Xuan? Song Meng sneered and said, You are right. You are not good enough for her. As the atmosphere became stifling, the gazes of everyone in the hall turned to Shui Yixian, whose face was flushed red with anger. Just as she was about to leave, a cold voice suddenly rang out. Yi Chunfeng and Xiao Wendy came to the main hall of the Eternal Heaven Palace, accompanied by the people of the Green Sky clan. Who are you? Who are you to speak here? Song Meng said. He did not expect that someone would dare to offend him for the ethereal heaven sect at this critical moment. Palace Mastered Song, please be polite. The fourth elder of the Green Sky clan said, This young master is from the Imperial Sky clan. He is a direct disciple of the Imperial Sky clan. Imperial Sky clan. Song Meng's face changed when he found out about Yi Chunfeng's identity. Although he had broken through to the one-star Dao God realm, he was nothing compared to the Imperial Sky clan, which was an overlord of the Void God realm. If the Imperial Sky clan wanted to kill him, they only needed to say a word. Are you scolding me? Yi Chunfeng's lips curled up slightly, revealing a dangerous aura. No, I didn't know who you were. Please forgive me. Song Meng quickly explained. What if I don't forgive you? Yi Chunfeng said coldly. He was here to cause trouble. Young master, Palace Mastered Song means you no harm. Please don't be angry. The fourth elder of the Green Sky clan added. Besides, Palace Mastered Song is very close to the Green Sky clan. Could you do us a favor and not make things difficult for Palace Mastered Song? Yi Chunfeng turned his head slightly, looked at the fourth elder of the Green Sky clan, and said coldly, You think I am making things difficult for him? No, young master. That's not what I meant. What I meant was that I hope young master can be magnanimous and not bicker with Palace Mastered Song. I think he knows his mistake. Although the fourth elder of the Green Sky clan sensed something unusual, he didn't think too much about it. He just kept dealing with them. Who is this person? Why do I feel like I know him? Shui Yixian, who had been pushed to the side, secretly looked at Yi Chunfeng, who had stood up for her. Although Yi Chunfeng's appearance was very unfamiliar, she didn't know why, but the more she looked at Yi Chunfeng, the more familiar he felt, as if she should know him. I'm a narrow-minded person. If anyone dares to scold me, I'll crush them to death. Yi Chunfeng said coldly. The aura around him grew stronger, causing the atmosphere in the hall to become more oppressive and tense. Are you really from the Imperial Sky clan? Suddenly, a cold voice rang out. A man in a snow-white robe, with a body as straight as a steel spear and a sharp look on his face, walked over with Tian Yun accompanying him. The number one genius of the Green Sky clan, Tian Yun, was accompanying the white-robed man. Tian Wufa, looking at the handsome white-robed man, Yi Chunfeng curled his lips and said coldly, Do you think that I'm not from the Imperial Sky clan? Then do you know me? Unable to go under the sky, said arrogantly as he sized up Yi Chunfeng. Tian Wufa, before I get angry, you'd better scram back to where you came from. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude to you. Yi Chunfeng warned coldly. Tian Wufa frowned. He didn't expect Yi Chunfeng to say his name. However, after looking at Yi Chunfeng, he realized that he had never seen him in the Imperial Sky clan. More importantly, Yi Chunfeng didn't have the unique aura of an expert from the Imperial Sky clan. Just who are you? Tian Wufa suppressed the anger in his heart and wanted to figure out Yi Chunfeng's identity. Tian Wufa, do you think that I don't dare to touch you? Yi Chunfeng warned coldly. I'll count to 3. If you don't scram, Don't blame me for twisting your dog head off. Motherf asterisk Kerr, you're courting death. Tian Wufa was known as the #2 genius of the Divine Sky clan in the past 100 years. His talent and strength were second only to Tian Qinyan. When he heard Yi Chunfeng insult him again and again, he was completely enraged. Tian Wufa had just finished speaking when there was a flash of light in front of him. Yi Chunfeng suddenly appeared in front of him and ruthlessly swung his palm at his face. Yi Chunfeng's palm swung over. Tian Wufa instinctively wanted to dodge, but in the instant that he dodged, Yi Chunfeng's palm suddenly accelerated and ruthlessly struck his face. Pow! The crisp sound of a slap rang out. Yi Chunfeng had sped up time by 10 times and ruthlessly swung his palm at Tian Wufa's face, sending him flying and crashing into the ground. Tian Wufa's handsome face immediately turned red and swollen, and large amounts of blood flowed out. Silence, absolute silence. Seeing Tian Wufa being sent flying by Yi Chunfeng's palm and crashing into the ground in such a sorry state, the chaotic hall immediately became deathly silent. Pairs of shocked eyes shot toward Yi Chunfeng. Motherfucker, I'll kill you. Tian Wufa had never suffered such humiliation before. Like an enraged lion, he crawled up from the ground and slashed at Yi Chunfeng with his extreme light sword. With just you, Yi Chunfeng coldly sneered. Light flashed beneath his feet as he charged at Tian Wufa. Die for me. As Yi Chunfeng charged over, Tian Wufa poured all his Tao energy into his extreme light sword and slashed with all his strength. He wanted to kill Yi Chunfeng and vent the hatred in his heart. Just as the extreme light sword, infused with powerful Tao intent, was about to strike Yi Chunfeng, Yi Chunfeng used his sword steps to dodge the attack and appear next to him. As Tian Wufa instinctively reacted and used all his strength to change his move, Yi Chunfeng's palm once more slapped his face and sent him flying. Trash! You can't even touch the corner of my clothes, let alone talk about killing me. Yi Chunfeng disdainfully looked at Tian Wufa, who was lying on the ground like a dog, and spoke with disdain. Bloodline ignition. Tian Wufa was mad with anger. He ignited his powerful bloodline and unsealed a powerful force in his body, forcibly raising his strength to the 1-star celestial god realm. In the next moment, a low-grade transcendent sage treasure, the 8 trigrams disc, appeared above his head and locked onto Yi Chunfeng. Trash is trash. No matter how many trump cards you have, it's useless. With a single thought, Yi Chunfeng fused the divine blood pearl, chaos essence pearl, and desolate stone, forcibly raising his strength to the 2-star Tao divinity realm. He wielded the sky piercer halberd, which weighed several 100 million jin, that he obtained from killing Huang Wutian, and slashed at Tian Wufa. Who are you? Why do you have Huang Wutian's heavenly halberd? Tian Wufa had a good relationship with Huang Wutian, so he immediately recognized that the heavenly halberd in Yi Chunfeng's hand was Huang Wutian's. His expression changed as he shouted, "When you go to hell, you can ask Huang Wutian personally and find out who I am." Yi Chunfeng transmitted his voice. The heavenly halberd in his hand slashed down fiercely. The frightening attack shattered the attack of the 8 trigrams plate. A frightening will of the way fell down like a mountain. Pung! The heavenly halberd and Tian Wufa's extreme light sword collided, creating a powerful rebound force. The terrifying power passed through the extreme light sword and madly poured into his body, causing his skin to split open and his blood vessels to burst open. He was constantly pushed back. Goodbye. Tian Wufa forcibly stabilized his body. Just as he was about to counterattack, Yi Chunfeng's entire body fused with the heavenly halberd, and the halberd slashed down, causing space to collapse. The terrifying power slashed the extreme light sword and viciously cut Tian Wufa in half. Reading, an even better reading experience. Chapter 17:12. Dead. Tian Wufa is dead. Looking at the scene of Tian Wu being killed by Yi Chunfeng's halberd, Tianyun's eyes widened in shock. Not only was Tianyun dumbfounded, many experts who knew Tian Wufa and his identity were also dumbfounded. They looked at Yi Qinfeng with fear and shock. There were even people who suspected Yi Qinfeng's identity. After all, the reason why the celestial race was so strong was because they were unprecedentedly united. They rarely had internal strife, not to mention that Tian Wufa was not an ordinary person. He was someone the celestial race focused on nurturing, and there was even hope for him to break through to the heavenly god realm in the near future. Just who are you? Several thoughts flashed through Tianyun's mind, and the way he looked at Yi Qinfeng changed slightly. At this moment, he had a feeling that Yi Qinfeng was most likely not someone from the celestial race. The reason he had the celestial ancient token was because he had most likely killed Huang Wutian. Otherwise, Huang Wutian's weapon would not be in his hands. What, Tianyun, are you suspecting my identity? Yi Qinfeng held the halberd that weighed several 100 million kilograms. He turned his head slightly and looked at the gloomy Tianyun as he questioned coldly. No, I'm just curious why Brother Wutian's halberd is in your hands. Also, you clearly know Brother Wufa's identity, but you still killed him. This is very unusual. I suspect that you are not someone from the celestial race. Tianyun took a deep breath and braced himself. Who are you to have the qualifications to suspect me? Yi Qinfeng sneered. If you speak any more nonsense, I'll send you to hell. You. Hearing Yi Qinfeng's blatant threat, Tianyun's face turned ugly. However, the scene of Yi Qinfeng killing Tian Wufa had deeply shocked him, and he did not dare to act rashly. Junior, you're courting death. Just as Yi Qinfeng was intimidating everyone, a furious roar rang out. A 3-star celestial deity, realm old man with snow-white hair and sunken eyes arrived at the malevolent heavenly palace with several experts of the Divine Sky Clan. They sealed off all of Yi Qinfeng's escape routes and launched a fatal attack on Yi Qinfeng. They hadn't expected to receive a message from Tianyun so soon after separating from Tian Lawless, informing them of Tian Lawless' death. Tian Qingyun's death had already caused the upper echelons of the Divine Sky Clan to be furious. Now that Tian Tianwu had died, the white-haired old man and the others felt like they were going crazy. We don't know who will die yet. Yi Qinfeng did not dodge the attacks. Instead, he summoned the primitive Dao embryo and used its strong defense to nullify the danger. Boom! The white-haired old man and the others clashed with the attack of the primitive Dao embryo, and an earth-shattering power erupted. The terrifying power shattered the coiling dragon pillars, and the great hall that the eternal heavenly palace had painstakingly built collapsed. Huang Wutian's primitive Dao embryo. The primitive Dao embryo was extremely rare, and coupled with its special aura, the white-haired old man and the others could tell that the primitive Dao embryo that Yi Qinfeng had summoned was Huang Wutian's. Yi Qinfeng, so you're Yi Qinfeng. Tianyun and the others did not know the secret, but the white-haired old man and the others knew that the Imperial Sky Clan had been killed by Yi Qinfeng. Seeing Yi Qinfeng summon the primitive Dao embryo and the Sky Piercer in his hand, the white-haired old man and the others could basically confirm his identity. Qingfeng. Shui Ishuan's eyes lit up, and a trace of excitement appeared on her cold face. Ishuan, don't be rash. Now is not the time for us to recognize Qingfeng. Although the Misty Heaven sect was much stronger than before, compared to the overlords of the Void God world, there was still a gap between heaven and earth. If others knew about the relationship between Yi Qinfeng and the Misty Heaven sect, it would definitely bring disaster to the Misty Heaven sect. Sectmaster, do you think Qingfeng will be fine? Shui Ishuan bit her wet lips lightly and asked worriedly. Don't worry. Have you forgotten that Qingfeng is the first place of the 100-battle competition? Even a genius like Tian Qingyun was killed by him. Do you think these people in front of you can threaten him? The news of Yi Qinfeng winning first place in the 100-battle martial competition had long since spread throughout the Heaven region. When they first learned of this news, Yu Xian and the others had suspected that the Yi Qinfeng who won first place in the 100-battle martial competition was not the Yi Qinfeng they knew. But now it seemed that they were the same person. Since you are all here, let me send you to the afterlife. After saying that, Yi Qinfeng summoned the divine demon Torch Dragon chaos divine beast, and the spiritual fish. Divine demon. That divine demon. Looking at the divine demon torch dragon, Yu Xian's eyes widened. He recognized the divine demon torch dragon at a glance, and his heart was in turmoil. Yi Chenfeng, did he really ascend from the lower realms? Yu Xian found himself increasingly unable to see through Yi Chenfeng. Yi Chenfeng was like an unsolvable fog, concealing far too many secrets. Kill! As Yi Chenfeng roared, he ignited the primordial blood and the two sacred true soul flames, forcibly raising his strength to the pinnacle of the three-star Tao gods. His physical strength neared 100 billion units, and his terrifying battle prowess instantly suppressed the white-haired old man, who was the strongest among them. Palace Mastered Song, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and summon the trump card of your Eternal Heaven Palace. If we can't kill him, we will all die today. The fourth elder of the Azure Sky race ordered in exasperation. Our last trump card. The Eternal Heaven Palace had been able to stand strong in the Nihility Zone for countless years, and they did have powerful trump cards that no one knew about. However, the cost of using them was too great. Once an accident happened, the foundation of the Eternal Heaven Palace would be greatly reduced. This was a price they could not afford to pay. Boom! As the fourth elder of the Azure Sky race roared, the divine demon torch dragon stabbed with the 8 ferocious spear. 100 billion kilograms of strength turned into a dragon, tearing the space apart. The fourth elder smelled the strong scent of death. With his life hanging by a thread, the fourth elder kept using powerful trump cards to defend himself, fighting for time to escape. However, the gap between his strength and the divine demon torch dragons was too big. His defensive trump cards could not block the 8 ferocious spear at all, and the divine demon torch dragon pierced through his body. A painful scream rang out. The power gushing out of the 8 ferocious spear shattered the fourth elder of the Azure Sky race, turning him into a cloud of blood mist and dying on the spot. After killing the fourth elder, the divine demon torch dragon continued to slaughter the experts of the Azure Sky race and the Eternal Heaven Palace. The two primitive embryos of Taoism, the spiritual fish, the divine beast of chaos, and the bloody skull also relied on powerful treasures to harvest the lives of their enemies. Soon, the entire Eternal Heaven Palace was flooded with blood. A large amount of blood gathered together and turned into streams of blood. Broken limbs and minced flesh were scattered all over the ground, turning the place into a purgatory on earth. The major forces who came to attend the banquet had never dreamed that such an unforeseen event would happen on this joyous day of the Eternal Heaven Palace. Judging from the forces controlled by Yi Chenfeng, they felt that the Eternal Heaven Palace was doomed. Chapter 17:13. Geniuses remember, love, go little in a second. I'll provide you with a wonderful novel to read. Tian Yun, where do you think you're going? Yi Chenfeng, who was fighting the white-haired old man, immediately ordered the primitive Tao embryo to stop the #1 genius of the Azure Sky clan when he saw that Tian Yun was trying to escape. He wanted to kill Tian Yun and end the future of the Azure Sky clan. Yi Chenfeng, my Azure Sky clan has no intention of becoming enemies with you. Please show mercy and let me go. Tian Yun was only a peak 6-star Tao Lord, so he couldn't resist the primitive Tao embryo's attacks at all. When his attacks were completely suppressed and he was in danger, he had no choice but to admit defeat and beg Yi Chenfeng to spare his life. You'll definitely die. Yi Chenfeng never showed mercy to his enemies. He diverted some of his attention to order the primitive Tao embryo to attack fiercely, heavily injuring Tian Yun and ending his life. Bang! When Tian Yun used all his trump cards to block the ferocious attack of the primitive Tao embryo, the primitive Tao embryo suddenly opened its mouth and spat out 2 extremely powerful beams of primitive Tao light that bombarded Tian Yun's head. It directly exploded his head, crushed his soul, and killed him on the spot. Yi Chenfeng, just you wait. My Divine Sky clan will definitely annihilate your entire clan. The situation was completely out of control. The white-haired old man had the intention to retreat, and he wanted to leave after saying those words. That day won't come, Yi Feng said coldly. He suddenly sped up the flow of time by 10 times and blocked the white-haired old man's path. After that, the Saint Realm's sword spirit slashed down from the sky like an invincible red glow that enveloped the space. It sealed the white-haired old man's escape route and forced him to retreat. Cosmos sword formation, slash. In the instant that the white-haired old man retreated, Yi Feng controlled the Cosmos sword matrix and merged them together, transforming them into an invincible Cosmos sword. Powerful will of the great path slashed towards the white-haired old man, shattering his defensive trump card and ruthlessly slashing his body. Although the white-haired old man used his transcendent saint battle armor to neutralize most of the Chinquan giant sword's attack, the terrifying remaining power still shattered all the meridians in his body, causing him to fall to the ground from midair. Just as the heavily injured white-haired old man's life was in danger, a pitch-black coffin engraved with a large number of ancient life runes flew over at an extremely fast speed, slamming into Yi Feng. Boom! Yi Feng punched out, and hundreds of billions of genes of strength exploded forth like a torrential flood, slamming into the black ancient coffin. The terrifying strength constantly blocked the black ancient coffin's ferocious attacks, and even caused cracks to appear on the ancient coffin's hard surface. The ancient black coffin cracked open, and a large amount of black death aura surged out through the cracks, directly dyeing the space within a radius of several miles black. The death chi in the air was attracted and rushed into the ancient coffin, causing the death chi in the ancient coffin to become even denser. Gotcha! The coffin's cracked lid was pushed open by a pitch-black hand, and Yi Feng saw a skeleton in a black robe slowly sit up. Its hollow eyes emitted a faint light, causing people to tremble in fear. Bah, I didn't expect the Eternal Celestial Palace to actually have a skeleton guarding it. Looking at the skeleton slowly walking out of the ancient black coffin, Yi Feng recognized it with a single glance. It was the zombie king Ba, and from the death chi emitted from its body, its strength had reached the peak of the 3-star ghost god, extremely terrifying. Heaven escape. When the white-haired old man discovered that Yi Feng's attention was attracted by the zombie King Ba in the distance, he did not hesitate to use the God Sky Clan's escape card, burning his powerful blood and chi to escape into a special trajectory in order to escape. I told you, you can't escape. The God-devouring brain had undergone many transformations and had become extremely powerful. The instant the white-haired old man tried to escape, Yi Feng suddenly blocked his escape route and instantly attacked with the demon's sealing sword, interweaving with sharp sword lights, sealing off all escape routes, and once again forcing him to retreat. Xian Tian Divine Cannon, Heaven's Punishment. Seeing how terrifying Yi Feng was, the white-haired old man knew that if he did not go all out, he might really die here. He immediately burned all the blood in his body and used the strongest move he knew to attack Yi Feng. The instant the white-haired old man attacked, the skeleton Ba also slashed over with a pair of white-bone sacred weapons, wanting to kill Yi Feng together. Infinite primal chaos. The white-haired old man transformed into Heaven's Punishment, and the skeleton Ba attacked with a powerful ghostly aura. Yi Feng's aura surged, and the towering shadow of the chaotic divine tree appeared on his body. He slashed out with his sword, and all the Tao will, golden soul power, and chaotic power merged together, turning into an invincible light of energy, shattering the space. Like a roaring dragon, it collided with the white-haired old man's and the skeleton Ba's attacks. Boom, boom, boom. The 3 powerful attacks collided in midair, setting off monstrous waves. The terrifying power continued to destroy the space above the Eternal Celestial Palace, and cracks appeared on the activated array. The famous buildings in the Eternal Celestial Palace, which had experienced many vicissitudes of life, could not withstand the impact of the surging shockwaves and began to collapse. Poof! Facing Yi Feng's infinite primal chaos attack head-on, the white-haired old man felt his body tremble, and the rolling chaotic power surged into his body, destroying his flesh and worsening his injuries. Although the skeleton Ba's defense was stronger than the white-haired old man, it could not withstand the infinite primal chaos attack head-on. Its black robe was torn apart, and cracks appeared on its white bone body. His injuries continued to worsen. Ignoring his injuries, the white-haired old man once again used Heaven Escape to escape. However, under Yi Qinfeng's tenfold time flow and unpredictable speed, the white-haired old man could not break out at all. He was forced to retreat again and again by Yi Qinfeng's ferocious attacks. One of his arms was cut off by the demon's sealing sword, and his combat power dropped rapidly. "Junior, even if I die, I will drag you to hell with me." The white-haired old man despaired as his escape route was completely blocked by Yi Qinfeng. He roared unwillingly and burned his saint spirit to use the indiscriminate destruction move, wanting to perish together with Yi Qinfeng. The highly intelligent skeleton Ba did not miss such a good opportunity. It deduced the ghostly power in its body to the extreme, and its huge skeleton body turned into a pair of invincible ghostly soldiers, slashing at Yi Qinfeng. The way of equipment manipulation. Feeling the terrifying power of these two attacks, Yi Qinfeng did not hold back anymore. He used the way of equipment manipulation, activating more than 300 ancestral patterns in the demon sealing sword, and used the godless sword to meet the attack. As the sword pierced out, the space within a radius of several miles turned pitch black. All the light in the entire space was swallowed up by the godless sword that cut through space. It was as if time had stopped in the entire space, leaving only this invincible divine sword that could cut through everything. Poof! The white-haired old man's indiscriminate destruction move was torn apart. Before the saint spirit in his body could explode, Yi Qinfeng used the godless sword to split open his body, killing him. Then, Yi Qinfeng, whose might was not reduced in the slightest, continued to press forward. Once again, his sword broke through Skeleton Demon's attack and fiercely pierced into his chest. A frightening Tao insight and a power of over 100 billion kilograms surged madly into his body, shattering the white bones in his body. The attacks forced him to retreat repeatedly. Saint-level sword soul destroy. When the demon sealing sword tore through Skeleton Ba's body like a hot knife through butter, the saint-level sword spirit descended from the sky. It shone with boundless red light as it cleaved apart Skeleton Ba's skeletal body, shattering his intelligence and life, destroying the eternal celestial palace's greatest trump card. Perfect anti-theft chapter. Please use the search engine to search for the keywords "read" for a better reading experience. Chapter 17:14. Retreat. Quickly retreat to the ancestral vein. After witnessing the scene of Yi Qinfeng killing the white-haired old man and Skeleton Ba, Eternal Celestial Palace Master Vast Mang's heart trembled. He quickly led the surviving disciples of Eternal Celestial Palace to the ancestral vein, hoping to seek protection there. If you don't want to die, leave Eternal Celestial Palace at once. Otherwise, you will be killed without mercy. Yi Qinfeng glanced at the retreating vast expanse and the others and warned them in a loud voice. Witnessing the terror of Yi Qinfeng's group, the experts from the various forces fled in panic. Yu Xian, Shui Xuan, and the others didn't dare to reveal their relationship with Yi Qinfeng, so they followed the crowd and left the eternal heavenly palace, which was filled with a thick stench of blood. Activate the ancestral formation. Skeleton Ba's death made Vast Mang lose his mind. After escaping to the ancestral ground, he immediately activated the ancestral formation, hoping to use its power to fight against Yi Qinfeng and the others. What a powerful ancestral formation! Yi Qinfeng immediately sensed the power of the ancestral ground deep within Eternal Celestial Palace. His eyes lit up. He did not expect the ancestral ground of Eternal Celestial Palace to be so powerful and ancient. He estimated that it had been nurtured for hundreds of millions of years. Yi Qinfeng, Eternal Celestial Palace does not wish to be your enemy. If you're willing to stop, I will let you go to the treasure vault of Eternal Celestial Palace and choose 10 treasures to take away. Although the ancestral formation's protection gave Vast Mang some peace of mind, he knew that if Yi Chun Feng did not leave, they would never be able to escape from this crisis. After I kill you, your treasure vault of eternal celestial palace will not be mine. Yi Chun Feng sneered, unmoved. Yi Chun Feng, if you are willing to let us go, eternal celestial palace will listen to your orders. Helpless, Vast Mang could only swallow the humiliation in his heart and submit. All right, then I will give you a chance to live. Yi Chun Feng smiled. Open your ancestral runes and give me your ancestral vein. Then, I'll spare your lives. Yi Chun Feng, are you really going to fight to the death with my eternal celestial palace? The ancestral vein was eternal celestial palace's last hope. If Yi Chun Feng took it away, eternal celestial palace would be wiped out by other forces in the near future. Fight to the death. You think you're worthy? Yi Chun Feng sneered. My patience is limited. If you open the ancestral formation now, I will give you a way out. If you insist on resisting, then don't blame me for being merciless. Fine, fine. Yi Chun Feng, you forced our hand. I'd like to see how you're going to break the ancestral formation of our eternal celestial palace. Vast Expanse gritted his teeth and continued to force out more blood, which he sent into the ancestral spell formation, increasing its power as he prepared to fight to the death. Senior, please use all your strength to attack the ancestral formation and test the power of the ancestral runes. Although the power of the ancestral mark before him was terrifying, Yi Chun Feng believed that he had the strength to break through it. All right. The burly fiend god Torch Dragon nodded and approached the ancestral formation with the 8 Fiends' war spear in his hand. Huh! The fiend god Torch Dragon roared and poured all his strength into the 8 Fiends' war spear. With a thrust, a powerful spear light shot into the ancestral formation like a mad dragon. Suddenly, the ancestral formation, which covered a radius of dozens of miles, surged with large amounts of ancestral runes. It held up a part of the world and annihilated the fiend god Torch Dragon's spear attack. After that, the fiend god Torch Dragon continued to attack. Spear light pierced into the ancestral formation and shook the ancestral runes. However, the ancestral formation formed by the ancestral veins was so powerful that the fiend god Torch Dragon's continuous attacks could not break it. This made Vast Expanse and the others who were hiding in the ancestral formation breathe a sigh of relief. However, Yi Chun Feng closed his eyes and controlled the God-Eater brain to quickly deduce the changes in the ancestral formation, looking for a way to break it. After many evolutions, the God-Eater brain's ability to deduce had reached a terrifying level. Under its repeated deductions, large amounts of light runes appeared in Yi Chun Feng's mind. These light runes were exactly the same as the ancestral runes in the ancestral formation. Senior, attack these 3 points. Yi Chun Feng's hands moved quickly and formed 3 light spots on the surface of the ancestral formation. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Locking his eyes on the 3 light spots, the fiend god Torch Dragon attacked with all his might. The terrifying spear light struck the 3 light spots almost simultaneously. Ka-ka-ka. Suddenly, a series of cracking sounds were heard. A large number of cracks spread rapidly with the 3 light spots as the center. And this change caused Vast Expanse and the others' hearts to clench. If the ancestral formation was broken, then all that awaited them was death. How could this be? Just where did this Yi Chun Feng come from? How did he find the connection points of the ancestral formation in such a short time? Vast Expanse looked through the ancestral formation and saw Yi Chun Feng controlling the God-Eater brain with his eyes closed. The unease in his heart grew stronger and stronger. Senior, attack these 5 points. After controlling the God-Eater brain to deduce a few more points, Yi Chun Feng had the fiend god Torch Dragon attack them. Boom, boom, boom. Under the fiend god Torch Dragon's all-out attacks, the cracks in the ancestral formation grew larger and larger. Terrifying strength constantly tore at the ancestral runes, causing the ancestral veins to become restless. It was like an ancient divine dragon was about to awaken and destroy the world. Chungfeng, we have to be careful. If they are driven into a corner and detonate the ancestral vein, we might all die. The fiend god Torch Dragon solemnly exhorted as it understood the destructive power of the ancestral veins explosion. Senior, don't worry. It's not easy to detonate the ancestral vein, and I won't give them the chance to do so. As he spoke, Yi Chunfeng controlled the God-Eater brain to continue to deduce the connection points of the ancestral formation. Seconds turned into minutes, and soon a day had passed. With the help of the God-Eater brain, Yi Chunfeng found more than 30 connection points of the ancestral formation. Together with the fiend god Torch Dragon, they tore apart a corner of the ancestral formation. When the ancestral formation was broken, Yi Chunfeng and the fish's primitive Tao embryos immediately flew in. They entered the ancestral formation and approached the restless ancestral vein. When the two primitive Tao embryos approached the ancestral vein, they were attacked by a large number of ancestral runes. However, as the primitive Tao embryos were too tough, the attacks couldn't harm them at all. Withstanding the attacks, the two primitive Tao embryos arrived at the ancestral vein that was crazily releasing energy. At this moment, two extremely terrifying waves of ancestral runes descended from the sky and slammed into the two primitive Tao embryos like two towering mountains. The terrifying power cracked their heads and caused their bodies to sink deeper into the ground. After sinking into the ground, the two primitive Tao embryos were immediately attacked by the ancestral runes, trying to destroy them. The two primitive Tao embryos didn't seem to be afraid of the ancestral runes attacks at all. They stimulated their acupoints and released a powerful devouring power, devouring the ancestral vein and increasing their strength. At this moment, Yi Chunfeng and the fiend god Torch Dragon stopped their attacks and distanced themselves from the ancestral vein, waiting in silence. Palace Master, what should we do now? The people of the Eternal Heaven Palace didn't notice the continuous loss of the ancestral runes and asked through telepathy. I've already sent a distress signal to the Azure Sky Race, and they have already reported this to the Imperial Sky Race and the Divine Sky Race. As long as we can hold on until the reinforcements arrive, Yi Chunfeng will be dead for sure. Song Meng looked at Yi Chunfeng fiercely and said coldly. Song Meng had placed all his hopes on the ancestral veins' ancient formation. While waiting for reinforcements, he suddenly felt the ancestral veins' energy dropping rapidly. Sensing this change, Song Meng immediately sensed through the ancestral vein and found the two primitive Tao embryos devouring the ancestral vein. His expression changed drastically, and a ferocious look appeared on his face. How dare you devour the ancestral vein of the Eternal Heaven Palace? I'll take you down with me. P.S. I'll post a picture of Mama, Yi shaking the heavens tomorrow. If you want to see it, please add me on WeChat, YLTY83. Chapter 17:15. Genius 1, Second Remember Love, Go/Small. Say, providing you with a wonderful novel to read. Ancestral vein explode. Vast expanse roared as he forcefully detonated the ancestral veins around the two primitive Tao embryos, intending to blow them apart. Boom! Boom! Part of the ancestral veins exploded, releasing an earth-shattering destructive force that wreaked havoc on the primitive Tao embryos' bodies. Huge cracks also appeared on the impregnable ancestral formation due to the explosion of the ancestral vein. Just as the ancestral veins were in chaos, Yi Chunfeng flapped his sword wings and flew over at lightning speed. He ignited his primordial bloodline and exploded with hundreds of billions of kilograms of strength to force his way through the cracks and into the ancestral formation. Yi Chunfeng, go to hell. Vast Expanse's face twisted when he saw Yi Chunfeng barge in. He was about to continue detonating the ancestral veins and blast Yi Chunfeng to death. We don't know who's going to die yet. Yi Chunfeng locked his gaze on Vast Expanse and threw the demon's sealing sword with all his might. It tore through the chaotic space and shot towards Vast Expanse. Vast Expanse's expression changed slightly when he sensed the aura of death from the demon's sealing sword. He wanted to dodge decisively. However, the moment he dodged, the demon's sealing sword suddenly changed its attack trajectory and attacked in the direction he was dodging. At this critical moment, Vast Expanse activated all his potential and dodged continuously in a short period of time. He wanted to avoid the demon's sealing sword's killing blow. However, the demon's sealing sword was controlled by the awakened demon spirit and was completely locked onto him. No matter how he dodged, he couldn't avoid the demon's sealing sword attack. In the end, the demon's sealing sword pierced through Vast Expanse's body and turned him into a mist of blood. He died on the spot. "No, don't kill us. We're willing to submit." Vast Expanse, who had broken through to the one-star Tao God realm, was killed by Yi Chuanfeng in a single strike. The other Eternal Celestial Palace experts were scared silly and chose to submit in order to survive. All of you, stay where you are. If anyone dares to move or play any tricks, don't blame me for destroying them. Yi Chuanfeng wasn't a bloodthirsty person. After killing the Vast Expanse, he didn't go on a killing spree. Instead, he summoned his supreme-grade Empyrean Sage item, the Devil Seal Sword, which floated in midair to intimidate the experts of the Eternal Heavenly Palace. As they madly devoured the ancestral vein of the Eternal Celestial Palace, the strength of the two primitive Tao embryos rose steadily. This was especially true for the Spirit Fish's primitive Tao embryo, which quickly broke through to the Tao Lord level. Days passed. About 10 days later, the ancestral vein of Eternity Heaven Palace withered. The powerful ancestral rhyme was completely devoured by the two embryos of Tao. After devouring the ancestral bloodline, the power of the two original embryos of Tao had reached a terrifying level. The original embryo of Tao of the Spirit Fish had reached the level of peak level 1-star Tao God, while Yi Chuanfeng's original embryo of Tao had reached the level of peak level 4-star Tao God. Not bad, not bad. After devouring the ancestral vein of Eternity Heaven Palace, the primitive Tao embryo broke through to the level of 1-star Tao God. If it devours the ancestral veins of Azure Sky Clan and Heavenly Imperial Clan, I wonder if it can reach the level of 6 Divine Tao God. Feeling the increase in the strength of the primitive Tao embryo, Yi Chuanfeng revealed a satisfied smile. He left the deathly forbidden area of Eternity Heaven Palace and went straight to the treasure vault. After plundering the vault, he left with the god-fiend Torch Dragon, Xiao Wendy, and the others. Soon, the news of Eternity Heaven Palace's destruction spread throughout the entire Nihility region. Yi Chuanfeng's name resounded throughout the Heaven region. Almost everyone knew about him. Nine Clarity's Mountain and the heavenly Tao Holy Ground were even more frightened. They closed their doors, fearing that Yi Chuanfeng would find trouble with them. Just as the entire Nihility region was talking about Yi Chuanfeng changed his appearance after Eternity Heaven Palace's destruction. He and Xia Wendy crossed the vast land and arrived at the Ethereal Heaven Sect. My two friends, the Ethereal Heaven Sect, has been rejecting all guests recently. Please come again after some time. When Yi Chuanfeng and Xia Wendy arrived at the Ethereal Immortal Mountain, they were immediately stopped by the Ethereal Heaven Sect's disciples. We are not outsiders. We are disciples of the Ethereal Heaven Sect's Snow Palace. Yi Chuanfeng smiled faintly. He took out his identity medallion with Xiao Wendy and entered misty Immortal Mountain. Such dense, heavenly Ling Qi. The Ethereal Heaven Sect has changed a lot in these years. After entering the Ethereal Immortal Mountain, Yi Chuanfeng found that the immortal Ling Qi in the mountain was getting denser and denser. It was so dense that one would feel invigorated by just smelling it. As they flew deeper into the mountain, Yi Chuanfeng found that there were many auspicious beasts living in the mountain. They breathed out auspicious light and added to the immortal Qi. Third senior sister. When Yi Chuanfeng and Xia Wendy arrived at the Snow Palace, they saw a beautiful figure deep within the palace. She was practicing her sword beneath an endless waterfall. Yi Chuanfeng's body flickered as he flew over. Who is it? Feeling a sharp aura approach, Yu Lanxin's expression changed. She grasped the water moon's sacred sword and fiercely attacked. In an instant, countless sharp sword shadows interweaved, rushing towards Yi Chunfeng like an endless tide. Buzz! Just as Yu Lanxin's tidal shadow sword was about to chop down on Yi Chunfeng, the entire space around them trembled. A sharp sword shadow split from Yi Chunfeng's body, breaking apart the tidal shadow sword and slashing towards Yu Lanxin. After cultivating for so many years, Yu Lanxin had used the resources of the ethereal immortal realm to greatly increase her strength. She had broken through to the 4-star Dao Emperor realm. Her slender figure flashed as she dodged Yi Chunfeng's attack. She reappeared in the air, grasping her water moon's sacred sword and continuing to attack Yi Chunfeng. With Yu Lanxin's strength rising sharply, the power of her tidal shadow sword grew even greater. Under her full strength, the entire space around her seemed to transform into an angry tide. Wave after wave of attacks came at Yi Chunfeng, wanting to engulf him in this tide of sword shadows. Inside the tidal shadow swords, Yi Chunfeng wasn't afraid at all. His hands moved quickly, intertwining with each other to form a sharp sword shadow, continuously neutralizing the tidal shadow swords. Yi Chunfeng and Yu Lanxin's battle in the depths of the Snow Palace had caused a great commotion. It had alarmed Shui Piaomiao and the others, causing them to rush to the back mountains to investigate. Master, you can see just who is fighting with Lan Xian? Their strength is actually so terrifying. Redbrook softly asked as she watched Yi Chunfeng break through Yu Lanxin's attacks. She couldn't help but be disappointed by his strength. Redbrook, don't you feel that the person fighting with Lan Xian is familiar? Shui Piaomiao whispered as she stared at Yi Chunfeng in the distance. Familiar? Redbrook blinked her large, beautiful eyes. She looked at Yi Chunfeng from afar, lost in thought. Striped Butterfly greets Palace Master Snow, Senior Apprentice, Sister Redbrook. At this time, Xia Striped Butterfly stepped through the void and arrived in front of Shui Piaomiao. She respectfully bowed. Striped Butterfly. Shui Piaomiao's eyes widened. Her cold and arrogant face revealed a deep excitement. You're a Striped Butterfly. Then he is. Chunfeng saw third senior apprentice sister practicing the sword, so he decided to compare notes with her. Xia Striped Butterfly faintly smiled as she explained. Chunfeng, hearing Xia Striped Butterfly's words from afar, Yu Lanxin's frown immediately relaxed. She revealed a bewitching smile and used her strongest move to attack Yi Chunfeng. Misty, Great Dao Sword. With a slash of her sword, the Dao intent within her body was deduced to the limit. A terrifying sword light evolved into an invincible Great Dao that cut towards Yi Chunfeng. Facing Yu Lanxin's misty, Great Dao Sword, Yi Chunfeng's hands quickly moved, turning into a sharp sword light that met the attack. A fierce collision occurred in the air, and the terrifying power of the collision alarmed the entire Misty Heaven sect. Perfect Anti-Theft Chapter. Please use the search engine to search for the keywords read. Chapter 1716. Geniuses remember, love go little in 1 second. Say, providing you with a wonderful novel to read. Who could cause such great destruction in Misty Mountain? Feeling the tremors in Misty Mountain, Yu Xian, Feng Mulan, Shui Shujun, and Shui Yishuan immediately rushed to the depths of the Snow Palace Mountains. They saw Yi Chunfeng and Yu Lanxin fiercely fighting. All right, third senior sister, the sect master, and the others are here. Let's stop. Relying on his absolute strength to resolve Yu Lanxin's ferocious attacks, Yi Chunfeng cheerfully said, All right. Yu Lanxin nodded and stopped her attacks. She and Yi Chunfeng floated in front of Yu Xian and the others. Chunfeng greets Sect Master Yu, Elder Feng, Patriarch Shui, Senior Sister Shui. Although Yi Chunfeng's strength far surpassed Yu Xian and the others, he was still very respectful towards Yu Xian. He respectfully bowed. Chunfeng, you are Chunfeng. Yu Xian and the others raised their eyebrows in shock. I was afraid of bringing bad influence to the Misty Heaven sect, so I came back with Motzi in disguise. Yi Chunfeng softly explained. It's good that you're back. It's good that you're back. Yu Xian excitedly said. Chengfeng, let's go to Misty Hall to talk. Yu Xian and the others immediately invited Yi Chenfeng and Xia Wendy into Misty Hall. They also ordered people to seal off Misty Hall in order to prevent news of Yi Chenfeng's return from leaking out. Love, go little say net, Chu Chengfeng. Thank you for everything you've done for my Misty Heaven sect. Without you, there wouldn't be the Misty Heaven sect today. Yu Xian emotionally said. Sect master is too polite. This is what I should do. Yi Chenfeng faintly smiled and said, Oh right, sect master, I also have a gift for you. As he spoke, Yi Chenfeng took out 3 cosmos rings and handed them to Yu Xian. This is when Yu Xian released his soul power into the 3 spatial rings. His eyes widened and he was stunned. I looted the eternal heavenly palace's treasure vault. However, most of the resources are useless to me, so I'll give them to Sect Master Yu. With these resources, the Ethereal Heaven sect will have a chance to become the #1 sect in the Nihility region, Yi Chenfeng said slowly. Chengfeng, we really don't know how to repay the kindness you've shown the Misty Heaven sect. Yu Xian and the others said emotionally. There's no need for that. Perhaps in the near future, I really hope that the Misty Heaven sect can help me. Yi Chenfeng said with a smile. All right, no matter what, my Misty Heaven sect will support you. Yu Xian patted his chest and promised. The news of Yi Chenfeng and Xia Wendy's secret return had been sealed by Yu Xian. Because the Heaven Realm was in troubled times, Yi Chenfeng didn't leave. He stayed in the Misty Heaven sect and focused on comprehending the Void Dao steels. He continued to increase his battle strength. Love, go, little, say, Nechu while Yi Chenfeng was hiding in the Misty Heaven sect. Experts from the Heaven Imperial Clan and Heaven Clan appeared in the Nihility region. They searched everywhere for Yi Chenfeng's whereabouts, wanting to capture him alive. However, no one knew where Yi Chenfeng was. No matter how they searched the Nihility region, they couldn't find Yi Chenfeng. However, the situation in the Nihility region and even the Heaven Realm became more and more tense. Many sects directly sealed their doors. Time flew, and 20 years passed in the blink of an eye. 20 years in the outside world was 400 years in the 4th level of the universe realm. After cultivating for 400 years, Yi Chenfeng refined a large amount of precious heaven-piercing saint pills. However, he still couldn't take the final step to break through to the Tao God realm or the heavenly body realm. However, after several hundred years of comprehending the Void Dao steels, Yi Chenfeng's comprehension of Dao intent had a qualitative breakthrough. The 5 Dao intents he cultivated had all transformed into Saint-grade Dao diagrams, and his Saint-grade sword soul had become pure. His battle prowess had increased by more than 10 times. He also perfected the everlasting chaos, increasing the power of this move. The chaos divine beasts, the golden clear dragon bloodline, the space devourer insect, and the fire Qilin had all cultivated to the peak of mid-grade ancestral beast, which was equivalent to a 6-star demon lord expert. As for the fiend god torch dragon, the spiritual fish Xiao Wendy, Ming Shifeng, Blood Skull, and the Black Rock Emperor, their strength had also increased greatly. Amongst them, the fiend god Torch Dragon had broken through once more and become a 4-star Dao god. The spirit fish had broken through to become a 3-star Dao lord. Xiao Wendy had broken through to become a 6-star Dao lord. Ming Shifeng had broken through to become a 1-star Dao lord. The Black Rock Emperor had broken through to become a 3-star Devil lord. And even though the Blood Skull hadn't broken through, he was only a step away from becoming a 1-star ghost god. Sensing that he wouldn't be able to break through the final step by relying on cultivation alone, Yi Chenfeng stopped cultivating and left the universe realm. He was prepared to ask Yu Xian for the coordinates of the demon region and head to the demon region. The reason why he wanted to go to the demon region was that as his strength increased, the chaos divine beast remembered everything. He knew who his enemy was and wanted to go to the demon region to seek revenge. Chengfeng, the situation in the Nihility region and the entire Heaven region has been very tense for the past 20 years. The Divine Sky Clan and the Heavenly Imperial Clan have been searching for you like crazy. I advise you not to show yourself publicly to avoid any accidents, Yu Xian warned solemnly. Sect Master you. Do you know the coordinates of the demon region? I want to go to the demon region. After all, the Divine Sky Clan and the Heavenly Imperial Clan were the overlords of the Void God realm. Not only did they have ancestor-grade experts, but they also had the strongest Void God experts in the universe. Yi Qinfeng didn't want to have a direct conflict with them, so he wanted to take advantage of this time to go to the demon region. You want to go to the demon region? The demon region hasn't been peaceful for the past 100 years. I'm afraid it's dangerous to go there now. Yu Xian said solemnly. Why? Is there an internal strife in the demon region? Yi Qinfeng said with some surprise. Yes, the internal strife in the demon region has been going on for more than 100 years. There are rumors that the internal strife in the demon region is related to the demon clan in the Void God realm. The dragon clan has sealed off the entire clan because of the internal strife. However, I don't know the real reason for the internal strife. Yu Xian nodded. Then isn't it troublesome to enter the demon region now? Yi Qinfeng frowned slightly. Yes, it is indeed a little troublesome. Yu Xian said, I heard that the entrance to the demon region has been sealed long ago. It won't be easy to enter. Sect Master you. Can you tell me the exact location of the demon region? I'll think of a way to go in myself. Yi Qinfeng said, All right, if you really want to go, then I'll tell you the exact location of the demon region. Thinking of Yi Qinfeng's secret, Yu Xian didn't persuade him and gave him the location of the demon region and a map of the heaven region. Thank you, Sect Master Yu. After knowing the location of the demon region, Yi Qinfeng chatted with Yu Xian privately for a while before leaving. About 3 days later, Yi Qinfeng said goodbye to Yu Xian, Shui Xian, and the others one by one. He quietly left the Misty Heaven sect and controlled the sacred illusionary diagram to change his appearance. After using the wormhole again and again, he arrived outside the sealed demon region. Space Swallower, swallow the wormhole. Yi Qinfeng tried a few times, but he couldn't open the realm gate with brute force. He summoned the Space Swallower and let it bite open a wormhole. As the Space Swallower continued to evolve, its ability to swallow space became stronger and stronger. After its continuous efforts, it bit open a wormhole and brought Yi Qinfeng into the sealed demon region. Perfect anti-theft chapter. Please use the search engine to search for the keywords. Read a better reading experience. Chapter 1717. Genius remembers love, go small in 1 second, says, providing you with wonderful novels to read. Green mountains, villages, people. Yi Qinfeng followed the Space Swallower and spent a lot of effort before finally passing through a long and narrow wormhole. He entered the sealed demon realm and landed in a mysterious little village. What a beautiful village! Yi Qinfeng glanced at the relatively large but sparsely populated village on the Green Mountain. Then, he prepared to turn and leave. However, just as he was about to leave, the God-Eater brain, which was rapidly making deductions, sensed something unusual. This surprised him, and he cast his gaze into the depths of the village. He discovered a thick, ancient tree growing in the village. Although the ancient tree had already withered and died, the God-Eater brain's deductions told him that the ancient tree was not simple. This village has a secret. Yi Qinfeng hid in a floating cloud and came to the village. He realized that the village was a little strange. The withered ancient tree and the 8 jagged rocks seemed to have an invisible connection, making the whole village feel lifeless. Curious, Yi Qinfeng quietly landed outside the village. He stepped on the uneven yellow ground and walked into the village, wanting to explore the village. Who are you? What are you doing in my Qingshan village? Suddenly, a tender voice rang out in his ears. A young man in a gray robe, with messy hair and a pale face, who seemed to be in his teens, appeared before him and spoke with hostility. A demon. Although the teenager in front of him looked no different from a human, Yi Qinfeng could tell at a glance that he was different from him. The blood of the demon race flowed in his body, and his body was a little special. Yi Qinfeng sensed that his body was filled with a deathly aura that was constantly eating away at his vitality. I don't mean any harm. I just happen to pass by and want to stay here for the night. Can I? Yi Qinfeng smiled and said softly. There's no inn in the village. There's no place for you to stay. The teenager sized up Yi Chinfeng and said with hostility, "All right, but I want to walk around the village. Can I?" Yi Chinfeng did not mind the hostility in the teenager's voice and asked slowly, "That's fine, but you have to leave before dark." After that, the teenager ignored Yi Chinfeng and turned to leave. After the teenager left, Yi Chinfeng continued to walk into the village. He realized that there were too few people in the village. Along the way, he only met 4 people. Soon, he came to the withered, ancient tree that would require 10 people to wrap their arms around it. He gently touched the tree's lifeless bark that looked like dragon scales. Through the God-Eater brain, he could sense the situation of the ancient tree. "Stop! Outsiders are not allowed to touch the sacred tree." Just as Yi Chinfeng closed his eyes and silently sensed the divine tree, an angry woman's voice rang out in warning. "Sorry, I don't know your rules." Yi Chinfeng retracted his right hand and turned around. He saw a woman with a medium build, slightly tanned skin, and a unique charm standing behind him. She had a grass bracelet on her wrist and was wearing a plain long dress. She was standing behind him and explained in a soft voice, "Our Qingshan village does not welcome outsiders. Please leave." The woman in the long dress said emotionlessly, "Why is that? Are they afraid they'll be contaminated by the death qi?" Yi Chinfeng said with a smile, "Love go little say, Nechu, who are you?" Hearing Yi Chinfeng mention the death qi, the woman in the long dress asked coldly. The hostility on her face became stronger. "Don't misunderstand. I'm just passing by. I'm interested in your village and want to stay here for a few days." Yi Chinfeng said softly, "But I won't stay here for free. I can reduce the death qi in your body so that you won't be tortured by it anymore." "Really?" The eyes of the woman in the long dress lit up. Her cold face revealed traces of emotion. Every time she was tortured by the death qi, she would be in so much pain that she wanted to die. That kind of pain became her nightmare. Every time she thought about it, her scalp would go numb. Moreover, she had a younger brother. Every time she saw her younger brother in pain and helplessness, she hated herself for being useless. If Yi Chinfeng could reduce the death qi in her and her younger brother so that they wouldn't be tortured by the death qi, she was willing to pay any price. "Give me your hand. I'll help you reduce the death qi in your body first. Then you'll know whether I'm lying to you or not." Yi Chinfeng looked at the woman's doubtful face and said softly, "Okay." The woman hesitated for a moment, but still handed her slender right hand to Yi Chinfeng. Grabbing the woman's slightly rough right hand, Yi Chinfeng immediately controlled the Death Spirit Pearl to devour the Death Qi in her body. He then guided the Life Spirit Pearl to pour down the Life Spirit Pearl into her body to repair her body that was damaged by the Death Qi. When the Life Spirit Pearl entered her body, the woman felt an indescribable sense of comfort. All the pores on her body opened up. Sensing that the Death Qi in her body was being reduced, the woman completely believed Yi Chinfeng's words. Her eyes constantly changed as she looked at him. "Now you believe me, right?" Seeing that the hostility on the woman's face was decreasing, Yi Chinfeng gently let go of her right hand. "You really just happened to pass by here?" The woman stared at Yi Chinfeng and asked doubtfully, "I really just happened to pass by. Also, I'm really interested in your village." Yi Chinfeng nodded. The woman saw that Yi Chinfeng's eyes were very clear and believed his words. She softly said, "It's getting dark. You should come to my house. I hope you can help reduce the death qi in my younger brother's body so that he won't be tortured by the death qi anymore." "No problem." After saying that, Yi Chinfeng followed behind the woman and arrived at the eastern part of the village. It was a 2-story bamboo building built with a large amount of bamboo. "Why are you here? What are you doing in my house?" The young man that Yi Chinfeng met at the entrance of the village scolded loudly when he saw that Yi Chinfeng had come to his house. "Ziffin, I invited him here." The woman explained softly. "Sister, have you been fooled by him? I don't think he's a good person." Xiao Ziffin grabbed his weapon and looked at Yi Chinfeng vigilantly. "Ziffin, he's not a liar. He can remove the death qi in our bodies." Xiaoling shook her head and said, "Well, put down your weapon and bring the food. Let's eat." But sister, no buts. Go and bring the food, Qiu Ling said in a commanding tone. Okay. Qiu Zifen looked at Yi Qinfeng again and went to bring the food obediently. Qingshan village relied on the mountains to survive. The living conditions were simple. Most of the food was delicious and very bland. However, Yi Qinfeng had a special taste in his mouth, and it was very delicious. During the meal, Yi Qinfeng chatted with Qiu Ling and Qiu Zifen casually. He learned about Qingshan village from the side door and knew that this village had a long history. However, because of the death qi, the people in Qingshan village did not live long. Therefore, no one knew the history of Qingshan village, let alone what kind of monster bloodline they inherited. Why don't you leave here? Why do you have to be corroded by the death qi? Yi Qinfeng asked in confusion. The death qi in our bodies is not caused by external forces. It is produced when we are born. As we grow older, the death qi will become stronger and stronger. Qiu Ling explained while eating rice. Born with it. Yi Qinfeng frowned slightly and murmured in his heart. What secrets are hidden in this small village and the villagers? Why do they have the death qi in their bodies when they are born? Just as Yi Qinfeng was thinking, Qiu Zifen's whole body suddenly trembled. A large amount of death qi rushed to his young and tender face. Unknowingly, the death qi in his body acted up. He was in so much pain that he was rolling on the ground. P.S. Today I will post the heavenly picture of God. If you want to see it, please add me on WeChat. Chapter 17:18. Brother. Qiu Ling's expression changed at the sight of Qiu Zifen, who was in so much pain that he wished he was dead. She immediately ran over and hugged him tightly in her arms, casting a pleading look at Yi Qinfeng. Leave him to me. I'll relieve his pain. Yi Qinfeng put down his bowl and chopsticks, then came to the side of Qiu Zifen and his sister. He quickly grabbed Qiu Zifen's wrist and controlled the dead spirit orb to devour the surging death energy in his body, alleviating his pain. Under the crazy devouring of the dead spirit orb, Qiu Zifen's skin, which had been penetrated by the dead spirit orb, gradually returned to normal, and the pain in his body became weaker and weaker. With the influx of the life force, the pain in Qiu Zifen's body completely disappeared, and he, who was weak, passed out. Thank you, thank you. Feeling that the dead spirit orb in Qiu Zifen's body had disappeared, Qiu Ling secretly breathed a sigh of relief and thanked him from the bottom of her heart. If you trust me, I'll check his body and see if I can eradicate the dead spirit orb in his body. Yi Qinfeng released Qiu Zifen's wrist and said slowly, Okay, then I'll leave it to you. With that, the excited Qiu Ling carried Qiu Zifen to a rather simple wooden bed made of dead wood. She put him on the bed and let Yi Qinfeng examine him. Dead spirit orb, devour. The dead spirit orb was a sacred treasure of the heavens, containing infinite potential. As Yi Qinfeng's strength increased, so did the power of the dead spirit orb. Yi Qinfeng took off Qiu Zifen's clothes, cut open his chest with his finger, and injected the dead spirit orb into his weak body, madly devouring the dead spirit orb in his body. At dawn, Yi Qinfeng felt that the dead spirit orb had completely devoured the dead spirit orb in Qiu Zifen's body. With a thought, he withdrew the dead spirit orb and used the life orb to heal the wound on his chest. He went to Qiu Ling, who was waiting for him, and said, The dead spirit orb in your brother's body should have been completely removed. Now I'll help you do that. Okay. Qiu Ling nodded and led Yi Qinfeng to her simple room. I need to cut the skin on your back to remove the death qi. But don't worry, I won't take advantage of you. Yi Qinfeng asked Qiu Ling to sit with her back facing him. Yes, I believe you. A blush appeared on Qiu Ling's face. She nodded and allowed Yi Qinfeng to tear open her clothes, revealing her smooth back. Then, she felt a sharp force cut the skin on her back, and a bead entered her body. Devour. Yi Qinfeng injected the undead spirit pearl into Qiu Ling's body. He immediately controlled the undead spirit pearl to devour Qiu Ling's death qi. It took him 8 hours to devour the death qi in Qiu Ling's body and resolve the crisis in her body. All right, the death qi in your body has been devoured. Yi Qinfeng took back the dead spirit bead and said, From now on, you and your sister won't be tortured by the death energy anymore. Thank you, young master. I wonder if you can help other people in Qingshan village get rid of the death qi in their bodies. Xiaoling quickly tidied up her clothes and said in a pleading tone, because we have been eroded by the death qi all year round. The residents of Qingshan village are getting fewer and fewer. Yes, Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, I'll help them get rid of the death qi after I have a rest. Thank you, young master, Xiaoling said gratefully. If young master doesn't mind, you can rest in my room. After Xiaoling left, Yi Chunfeng adjusted his breath and the god-eating brain started to deduce quickly. A strong soul power radiated out and shrouded the large Qingshan village, which was built in the mountains, to explore the secrets of the village. Well, something's wrong. Yi Chunfeng controlled the god-eating brain to sense for more than 6 hours. Suddenly, he opened his eyes and showed a trace of surprise. He quickly went to Qiu Zifen's room and saw that he had just woken up. Brother, I misunderstood you. Thank you for saving me. Knowing that Yi Chunfeng had helped them get rid of the death qi in their bodies, Qiu Zifen was grateful and said apologetically, Give me your hand. Yi Chunfeng came to the bedside and grabbed Qiu Zifen's hand. He released a strong soul power to check his body. How could this be? While checking Qiu Zifen's body, Yi Chunfeng frowned tightly. He was surprised to find that the death qi in Qiu Zifen's body that had been devoured by the dead spirit pearl had reappeared and was slowly strengthening. Young master, what's wrong with my brother's body? Looking at Yi Chunfeng's serious face, Xiaoling could not help but feel nervous. Give me your hand too. Yi Chunfeng grabbed Xiaoling's hand and checked her body. He found that the death qi in her body that should have been removed had also reappeared. Curse, this is the power of the curse. Under Yi Chunfeng's control of the God-Eater brain, Yi Chunfeng vaguely felt the power of the curse in the depths of their lives. Do you know about the curse in your body? Yi Chunfeng let go of the two siblings' hands and pondered for a moment before asking. Curse? What curse? Xiaoling asked. Yesterday, I had devoured all the death qi in your body. But today, I found that the death qi in your body has recovered. Just now, after my examination, I vaguely felt the power of the curse in your body. Yi Chunfeng did not hide anything and said slowly, Think about it. Since you were born, have you encountered anything special? Or did your ancestors have any rumors about the curse? No. Xiaoling and her brother looked at each other and shook their heads. Qingshan village is remote, and we don't have much contact with people. We have never heard of the curse. Can you find me 1 or 2 people? I want to see if their bodies are the same as yours. Yi Chunfeng thought for a moment and said, Okay, I'll find them right away. Qiu Zifen immediately got out of bed, put on the cloth shoes with holes, and ran out to find people. Soon, Qiu Zifen came to his room with 3 young people, 2 men and 1 woman, who were about the same age as him. Their skin was sallow as if they had been ill for a long time. They asked Yi Chunfeng to remove the death qi in their bodies and check their bodies. Their physical conditions were the same as Qiu Zifen's. Several hours after the death qi in their bodies had been devoured by the dead spirit pearl, the death qi in their bodies had reappeared. This made Yi Chunfeng almost certain that the curse in their bodies originated from the bloodline inheritance. What secrets are hidden in this small mountain village? How could there be a bloodline curse? Yi Chunfeng felt more and more that this small mountain village he had accidentally come to was not simple. There must be a great secret hidden in it, which made him more and more interested. He planned to stay here for a while and try to solve the mystery here to see if he could gain something big. Xiaoling, now I'm basically sure that the death qi in your bodies originated from the bloodline inheritance, and I haven't found a way to completely eradicate it. But if you trust me, I'll stay here for a while and see if I can find a way to solve it. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and said, Then we'll leave everything to you, young master. Xiaoling and her brother bowed deeply to Yi Chunfeng and said gratefully, Don't thank me first. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and said, I'm not sure if I can completely eradicate it, and I need you and your brother to cooperate. Okay, we're willing to cooperate. Xiaoling and her brother said in unison. Well, then I'll think of a way to solve the mystery of your bodies. Yi Chunfeng nodded and stayed in Qingshan village. He sensed the changes in the bodies of the siblings through the God-Eater brain and looked for the secret of the bloodline curse. Chapter 17:19. Genius remembers love, go small in 1 second, says, providing you with wonderful novels to read. Time flew by, and soon a month had passed. During this month, Yi Chunfeng lived with the Chiu siblings every day, sensing the changes in their bodies through the God-Eater brain. Although the Qi of death in their bodies did not act up during this month, Yi Chunfeng could clearly feel the growth of the Qi of death in their bodies. After sensing for a month with the God-Eater brain and not finding any valuable clues, Yi Chunfeng began to wander around Qingshan village, carefully studying the withered ancient tree and the 8 jagged rocks in the village. Something's not right. There's something wrong with this ancient tree. Yi Chunfeng sat cross-legged under the withered ancient tree for 10 days and 10 nights. Through the God-Eater brain, he could not find anything wrong with it. Suddenly, one day, the sky was covered with dark clouds, and it began to rain heavily. The God-Eater brain, which was very good at deduction, vaguely sensed that the ancient tree was slowly absorbing the moisture in the air. If the ancient tree had already withered, it would not have absorbed the moisture. Since it was actively absorbing the moisture, it meant that it was not withered. Have I been bewitched? Is this ancient tree not a dead tree? Thinking of this, Yi Chunfeng summoned the chaos divine wood and let it devour the ancient tree to determine whether it was dead or alive. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The divine tree of chaos floated in the air and continued to expand. The swaying 5-colored tree crown reflected the chaotic light of the 5 elements, dispersing the dark clouds and rendering the entire sky colorful. Sharp 5-colored roots extended out and attacked the withered ancient tree like sharp swords. As the chaos divine wood grew, its 5-colored roots could even penetrate a low-grade, transcendent sacred weapon. However, when they stabbed the ancient tree, they could not break through its tough bark. This surprised Yi Chunfeng. Demon Sealing Sword break. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng summoned the Demon Sealing Sword and slashed at the dead ancient tree with all his might. When the incomparably sharp Demon Sealing Sword stabbed into the withered ancient tree, a powerful rebounding force formed at the tip of the Demon Sealing Sword. The rebounding force passed through the Demon Sealing Sword and into Yi Chunfeng's arm, causing his arm to feel slightly numb. What kind of tree is this? It's so hard. Yi Chunfeng raised his brows. He did not expect the tip of the Demon Sealing Sword to be incapable of cutting through the bark of the dead ancient tree. Mo Ling, wake up! The more Yi Chunfeng thought about it, the more he felt that the withered ancient tree before him was extraordinary. It had forcefully awakened the Demon Sealing Sword's demon spirit. Why did you wake me up? A lazy voice rang out from the Demon Sealing Sword. Mo Ling, do you know the origin of this ancient tree? Yi Chunfeng asked. Let me see. The demon spirit reluctantly floated out of the Demon Sealing Sword and came under the seemingly withered ancient tree. He circled the ancient tree again and again. Could this be one of the 10 great ancient trees, the Death Ghost Tree? Moreover, it's a fully grown Death Ghost Tree. The demon spirit had lived for countless years and was very knowledgeable. Under his appraisal, he recognized the origin of this seemingly withered ancient tree and revealed a look of shock. Death Ghost Tree. You said it's the Death Ghost Tree. Although Yi Chunfeng had never seen the Death Ghost Tree before, he had heard of its famous name. The Death Ghost Tree was one of the 10 great ancient trees in the universe. It contained a powerful force of death and was the nemesis of all living things. Wherever it grew, not even a blade of grass would grow, let alone any living things. Perhaps the death curse in the bodies of the villagers originated from this Death Ghost Tree. Yi Chunfeng faintly discovered the truth of the death curse. However, on second thought, Yi Chunfeng found another problem. The Death Ghost Tree destroyed all life. With it around, no life could exist. How did the villagers of Qingshan village survive? At the thought of this, Yi Chunfeng felt that this small village he had unintentionally passed by hid a big secret. Mo Ling, Activate the strongest attack of the demon's sealing sword. I want to break open the bark of this death ghost tree. The key to unlocking the secret of the small village was the death ghost tree in front of him. Yi Chen-feng took a deep breath and ignited his Hong Meng bloodline. He fused the three great treasures and raised his strength to the limit. He used the Tao of equipment manipulation and attacked the death ghost tree. Wong. The demon's sealing sword pierced the death ghost tree. The power of more than 300 ancestral patterns was completely activated and merged with the powerful Tao will. The terrifying sword power forcibly broke open the tough bark of the death ghost tree. Then, the five-colored roots of the chaos divine would flew over and broke through the severely damaged bark. They successfully pierced into the death ghost tree and frantically devoured the spirituality of the death ghost tree. Roar! 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 After being devoured by the chaos divine wood, the death ghost tree that seemed to have died a long time ago came back to life. Chilling, ghostly cries resounded from the tree. A large amount of black death aura gushed out of the death ghost tree and attacked the chaos divine wood. Although the death ghost tree had already matured and contained unimaginable power, the chaos divine wood was the most powerful divine wood in the universe. It was difficult for the death ghost tree to destroy it. The chaos divine wood swayed with the chaos five elements light and continuously weakened the attacks of the death ghost tree. It frantically devoured the spiritual energy of the death ghost tree. Chaos divine wood. Why is there a chaos divine wood here? The spiritual energy of the death ghost tree was continuously drained. A ferocious ghost face appeared from the death ghost tree. It spoke human language and roared furiously. Godless sword. A ghostly face appeared from the ghost tree of death. Yi Chen-feng continued to derive the powerful will of the great path. He pierced the ghostly face with his sword. The terrifying might of the sword kept destroying the ghostly face, trying to break it apart. Despicable human, go to hell. The ghost face was completely enraged by the attack. It let out an earth-shattering roar. Billowing ghost aura gushed out of its mouth like an endless river. It crushed Yi Chen-feng's attack and blasted him away. Two sacred true spirit flames burn. Yi Chen-feng took a deep breath and suppressed the surging aura in his body. He summoned the two sacred true spirit flames and burned the death ghost tree to weaken its power. Despicable human, I will destroy you. The ghost face suddenly flew out of the death ghost tree and turned into a black ghost shadow. It carried a shocking death aura and attacked Yi Chen-feng, trying to kill him. Retreat. That is the tree heart spirit of the death ghost tree. It is not something you can handle. As the ghost shadow attacked, the demon spirit's voice immediately sounded in Yi Chen-feng's sea of soul and urged him to retreat. 100 restrictions of space. Yi Chen-feng's expression changed slightly. He mobilized the powerful power of space and formed 100 restrictions of space in front of him to resist the ghost shadow's attack. He quickly retreated. Ka. Under the attack of the ghost shadow, the 100 restrictions of space formed by Yi Chen-feng kept shattering. The terrifying death aura swept toward Yi Chen-feng, trying to annihilate him. However, Yi Chen-feng's movement was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he had retreated thousands of meters away and dodged the ghost shadow's attack. At this time, the villagers of Qingshan village heard the sound of fierce fighting. They rushed over to see what was going on. Don't come over. Leave this place, or you will all die. Seeing the villagers running over, Yi Chen-feng's expression changed slightly and shouted at them. However, there were still a few people who took the risk and rushed into the ghost shadow's attack range, including Qiu Zifen. Despicable human, you have really angered me. I will kill everyone here. The ghost shadow let out a ferocious roar. The death aura surging in its body became stronger and stronger. In an instant, it shrouded Qiu Zifen and the others, threatening their lives. Perfect anti-theft chapter. Please use the search engine to search for the keyword, read, and have a better reading experience. Chapter 1720. Genius 1 second remember, love, go/small. Say, providing you with a wonderful novel to read. Godless sword. Qiu Zifan and the others were in danger. Yi Qinfeng raised his attack power to the limit and stabbed his sword into the pitch-black death storm, cutting through the surging death energy in an attempt to save Qiu Zifan and the others. However, the Tree Heart Spirit was too terrifying. Under the attack of the Tree Heart Spirit, Yi Qinfeng's attack was greatly affected. He could not save Qiu Zifan and the others in time. Seeing that Qiu Zifan and the others were killed by the spirit in the heart of the tree, suddenly, pillars of light rose from the strange rocks in the 8 corners of Green Mountain Village and pierced into the sky, turning into a giant bird with a wingspan of more than 10 meters, covering the sky and the sun. It looked up to the sky and cried, tearing apart the death storm and saving Qiu Zifan and the others. Immortal bird, I know where this place is. Looking at the giant bird condensed from the 8 strange rocks, an ancient memory appeared in Mo Ling's spirit ocean. Where is this place? Yi Qinfeng asked through telepathy. It's too dangerous here. Let's leave this place first. Mo Ling urged. Okay. Yi Qinfeng unleashed an astonishing attack and tore through the death storm. He quickly left the Tree Heart Spirit and arrived at a relatively safe place. Young master, what happened to Qingshan village? How is my brother? At this time, Qiu Ling ran over and asked anxiously. Don't worry, your brother is fine. However, Qingshan village is hiding a big secret. The death curse in your body originates from this secret. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and said, Qiu Ling, if you trust me, take the villagers away from Qingshan village and hide in the mountains. I will do my best to break the death curse in your body. Okay, then I'll leave everything to you. Qiu Ling bit her lips and immediately told the villagers about the serious situation. She took them away from Qingshan village and hid in the mountains, observing the changes in Qingshan village from afar. Mo Ling, tell me everything you know. After Qiu Ling and the others left, Yi Qinfeng asked, if I'm not mistaken, this might be the place where the undying bird was buried, and that death ghost tree was a treasure left behind by the golden-winged Peng King to destroy the undying bird. Mo Ling said, Immortal bird? Golden-winged rock king? Yi Qinfeng frowned slightly and said, Mo Ling, tell me in detail. In the ancient times, when the Void God Realm's demon clan was just born, there were 4 great demon ancestors. They were the Phoenix Demon Ancestor, the Divine Ape Demon Ancestor, the Golden Rock Demon Ancestor, and the Immortal Demon Ancestor. The Phoenix Demon Ancestor was the strongest, so he naturally became the Demon Emperor and led the Demon Clan. The Divine Ape Demon Ancestor will represent the Beast Clan and become the 2nd Demon Emperor. The last Demon Emperor of the Demon Clan will be between the Golden Rock Demon Clan and the Immortal Demon Ancestor. In order to fight for the position of Demon Emperor, the 2 great demon ancestors fought fiercely in the Void God Realm. Originally, everyone thought that the Immortal Demon Ancestor would become the 3rd Demon Emperor. However, for some reason, the Immortal Demon Ancestor suddenly lost his power and was chased by the Golden Rock Demon Clan. From then on, there was no more news about the Immortal Demon Ancestor. The Golden Rock Demon Ancestor became the 3rd Demon Emperor of the Demon Clan. Then, Mo Ling, are you so sure that this is the place where the Immortal Demon Ancestor is buried? Yi Qinfeng asked. Yes, I'm basically sure that my guess is not wrong. Mo Ling said, the Death Ghost Tree is one of the 10 great ancient trees. It contains unimaginable power, and the undying bird shadow can contend against it. The strength of the person who set this up is definitely very terrifying. Also, it's very strange that the Death Ghost Tree appeared here. Now, it seems that it should be the Golden Rock Demon Ancestor's backup plan to kill the Immortal Demon Ancestor. Only the Death Ghost Tree can kill the Immortal Demon Ancestor after so many years. Mo Ling, what kind of inheritance do you think the Immortal Demon Ancestor left behind? Yi Qinfeng did not expect the secret hidden here to be so shocking. He frowned and fell in a deep thought. Although the burial place of the Immortal Demon Ancestor definitely hid a great opportunity, he knew that it was too difficult to obtain the inheritance of the Immortal Demon Ancestor. The slightest discomfort could cause him to lose his life inside. In the ancient times, the immortal demon ancestor disappeared. Many people searched for him all over the world, wanting to obtain his immortal divine power. However, no one got it. If this is the burial place of the immortal demon ancestor, then it's very likely that he left his immortal divine power here. Mo Ling said, "Immortal divine power? Could it be that you won't die if you learn it?" Yi Chunfeng asked with interest. "No, even gods will die. How can a mere divine power make one eternal?" Mo Ling said, "The greatest use of the immortal divine power is recovery. No matter how injured you are, even if you only have one breath left, using the immortal divine power will allow you to recover in an instant. This is also the biggest reason why the immortal demon ancestor suppressed the golden rock demon ancestor. There's actually such a heaven-defying divine power in the universe." Yi Chunfeng could not help but gasp. Learning such a heaven-defying divine power was equivalent to having an extra life. It could definitely turn the tide at a critical moment. "Why are you moved?" Mo Ling said, "It's normal to be moved. Not to mention you. Even the virtual gods are moved by the divine power of the immortal demon ancestor. However, the greater the opportunity, the greater the risk. With your strength, if you want to obtain the inheritance of the undying bird, you must obtain its approval." Mo Ling, "How do you think I can obtain its approval?" Although Yi Chunfeng was strong enough now, in front of an ancestor-level expert, he was still weak. "I think that Death Ghost Tree is the key," Mo Ling continued. "If the immortal demon ancestor is really dead, it must be related to the Death Ghost Tree. If you can destroy the Death Ghost Tree to avenge him, you'll most likely obtain the approval of the immortal demon ancestor. If you destroy the Death Ghost Tree and the immortal demon ancestor doesn't approve of you, then you'd better not have any ideas about the immortal demon ancestor. Otherwise, you'll definitely lose your life. All right, then let's wait for the Chaos Divine Wood to destroy the Death Ghost Tree." Although a fully grown Death Ghost Tree was terrifying, Yi Chunfeng believed that the Chaos Divine Wood was enough to kill it. He waited patiently. While waiting, the immortal bird's shadow and the heart tree's spirit fought fiercely to the climax. A terrifying force swept through the entire sky, shaking it and causing cracks to appear in the sky. However, Qingshan village was not affected by the suppression of the 8 craggy rocks. Only a few houses close to the Death Ghost Tree collapsed. "Chaos Divine Wood, I don't want to destroy you. Stop." The Death Ghost Tree used all kinds of methods, but it was unable to destroy the Chaos Divine Wood. It was also unable to stop the 5-colored roots from devouring it. It felt that its spiritual power was continuously draining away, which made it furious. It roared continuously. However, the Chaos Divine Wood ignored it and continued to devour the Death Ghost Tree. It nurtured the power of chaos and continued to grow and transform. Due to the intense battle between the immortal bird's shadow and the heart tree's spirit, the Chaos Divine Wood, and the Death Ghost Tree, the commotion caused was too great. It alerted many demon clan forces near Qingshan village, causing them to show themselves and rush over. In an instant, the peaceful Qingshan village became chaotic. A rarely seen great demon appeared in Qingshan village, and the situation became more complicated and tense. Perfect anti-theft chapter. Please use the search engine to search for the keyword read and have a better reading experience. Chapter 1721. Genius 1, second remember, love, go/little, say, providing you with an exciting novel to read. Roar, kid, tell me, what exactly happened here? A burly, muscular, golden-haired, 3-star demon emperor with a strong demonic aura exuding from his body and noticed Yi Chunfeng, who was standing on a huge boulder at the edge of the village. He roared loudly. Yi Chunfeng turned a deaf ear to this big demon's roar. He stood on the boulder and continued to observe the situation in Qingshan village. After a few days of devouring, he felt that the Chaos Divine Wood was about to complete its transformation. Once the Chaos Divine Wood completed its transformation, it would be the death of the Death Ghost Tree. Damn it, are you deaf? I'm asking you a question. If you continue to pretend to be a mute, I'll tear you apart. The big demon was furious when he realized that Yi Chun-feng was ignoring him. He warned him fiercely, "Are you talking to me?" Yi Chun-feng slowly turned around. His gaze was as sharp as a knife, piercing into the big demon's eyes. The big demon felt as though his body was being pierced by thousands of light swords. His face turned pale, and beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. "Get out of here before I get angry. Otherwise, I'll twist your head off." Yi Chun-feng warned coldly. He turned around again and waited patiently. Gulp. Hearing Yi Chun-feng's warning, the burly man couldn't help but gulp. He felt a tinge of fear in his heart and quickly left. However, although he left, he went to persuade other powerful demons to find trouble with Yi Chun-feng. Soon, more than 10 powerful big demons appeared around Yi Chun-feng and surrounded him. "Kid, I heard that you know what happened in the village. If you don't want to die, you'd better tell me obediently. Otherwise," a tall and thin big demon dressed in leopard skin looked at Yi Chun-feng fiercely and warned him coldly. However, before he could finish his sentence, a sharp sword radiance shot out from Yi Chun-feng's body and pierced his throat at a speed several times faster than light. Bang! His head was shattered by the sword light and turned into a bloody mist. His soul was also minced and dissipated into the world. Leopard, seeing the leopard-skinned man die in a pool of blood, the dozen or so great Yao were completely enraged. They all burned their powerful bloodlines and transformed into their strongest combat forms. Together, they attacked Yi Chun-feng, wanting to capture him alive and force him to know what was going on inside. "You are courting death." With a thought, Yi Chun-feng's Qianquan swords flew out of his body and formed a Qianquan sword array above his head. After looting the Eternal Heaven Palace, Yi Chun-feng collected 500 supreme-grade True Spirit Saint swords, which greatly improved the power of the Cosmos Sword Array. Under his control of the Cosmos Sword Formation, more than 10 great demons near him were all killed. Blood and severed limbs were scattered all over the ground. "Who?" Yi Chun-feng opened his mouth and spat out the True Spirit Saint fire, which merged with the corpses of the great demons. He stood on the boulder and continued to wait. After witnessing Yi Chun-feng's ruthless methods, the other great fiends that rushed over were completely intimidated. They did not dare to get close to Yi Chun-feng. Some even used their communication pearls to spread the news of what happened here. Love, go little, say, net. Chu kid, this is a little out of character for you. You didn't kill them, but allowed them to spread the news. Mo Ling asked in surprise. "The undying inheritance is very important to me. If the undying bird doesn't acknowledge me, I have to use other means." Yi Chun-feng replied indifferently. "You want to use the great Yao clan to obtain the undying bird's inheritance and then snatch it from them?" Mo Ling immediately understood Yi Chun-feng's intention. "This is the worst backup plan. If I can't enter the undying bird's inheritance, I can only rely on external forces." Yi Chun-feng nodded. "Kid, you are really insidious. But I like it." Mo Ling laughed sinisterly. Another 7 days passed. Suddenly, a huge shadow appeared in the sky. A golden eagle with a wingspan of over 100 meters appeared in the sky. It had a crown on its head, and its eyes were like lightning. Its claws were sharp enough to crush mountains. A 6-star great demon of the Demon Lord realm. Sensing the strength of the golden eagle, Yi Chun-feng's expression didn't change. He continued to sense the changes in the chaos divine wood. "The golden eagle king is here. That kid is dead for sure. Yeah, I don't know where this wild kid came from. He dared to kill the golden eagle king's subordinates. He must be tired of living." Seeing the huge golden eagle flying in the sky, many of the great demons hiding in the distance were pleasantly surprised. They looked at Yi Chun-feng coldly. What is that?" The golden eagle king looked through the chaotic space and saw the intense battle between the undying bird, the heart tree, and the 2 chaos divine woods. Its round eyes immediately revealed a look of greed. However, the battle between the undying bird and the heart tree was too terrifying. It had some misgivings and quickly flew to the entrance of the village to find Yi Chun-feng. "Human race?" The golden eagle king transformed into its human form and looked at Yi Chun-feng from afar. When it found that there wasn't a trace of demon aura on him, the killing intent in its eyes intensified. You have guts. You actually dared to infiltrate my demon race and kill my great demon. I think you must be tired of living. However, this demon king can give you a chance to live. Tell me, what exactly happened inside? A 6-star great demon of the demon lord realm. Is there no one else in your demon race? Although a 6-star great demon was already an almighty in the demon region, it wasn't enough in Yi Qinfeng's eyes. He coldly looked at the approaching Golden Eagle King and spoke with disdain. Courting death. Yi Qinfeng's disdain completely enraged the Golden Eagle King. It let out a furious roar and summoned a supreme-grade, true spirit saint artifact, rank-long spear. It turned into a golden light and pierced towards Yi Qinfeng with frightening might. You want to hurt me with just a supreme-grade, true spirit saint artifact? After cultivating his battle physique to the perfection realm, Yi Qinfeng's physical body was comparable to a half-transcending heaven saint artifact. A supreme-grade, true spirit saint artifact couldn't hurt him at all. He took a step forward and instantly appeared on the ground. He waved his fist and welcomed the Golden Eagle King's golden spear. Wong. When Yi Qinfeng's fist made contact with the incomparably sharp golden spear, a few billion gene of strength exploded. The terrifying strength directly bent the spear in the Golden Eagle King's hand, causing his arm to tremble and his skin to split open. What? The Golden Eagle King didn't expect Yi Qinfeng's strength to be so terrifying. His expression changed, and he decisively wanted to change his move. However, at this moment, a red light shot out from Yi Qinfeng's Sea of Soul. The Saint Sword Soul was like a red waterfall that fell from the sky and slashed towards the Golden Eagle King's head. Saint Sword Soul. Seeing the Saint Sword Soul slashing down from the sky, the Golden Eagle King's 3 souls were scared out of his wits. He used all his strength to defend himself with his supreme-grade, true spirit Saint Spear. However, the Saint Sword Soul's power was too terrifying. The supreme-grade, true spirit Saint Spear couldn't withstand it at all. It was split apart by the Saint Sword Soul and continued to slash towards the Golden Eagle King. No! The Golden Eagle King let out a cry of despair as his entire body was split apart by the Saint Sword Soul. He turned into a cloud of blood mist and died on the spot. When Yi Qinfeng summoned the Saint Sword Soul and killed the Golden Eagle King, the primal chaos divine would finally completed its transformation. The heart of the tree was completed and the entire tree became 5-colored. Its power also surpassed the transcending Heaven Saint artifact and had the power of an ancestral artifact. Perfect anti-theft chapter. Please use the search engine to search for a better reading experience. Chapter 1722. Genius remembers, love, go small in 1 second, says, providing you with fascinating novels to read. The Chaos Divine would has finally taken the most difficult step and possesses the might of an ancestral artifact. Sensing the changes in the Chaos Divine Wood, Yi Qinfeng revealed a faint smile. With the Chaos Divine Wood's current strength, it was completely capable of destroying the Death Ghost Tree. The tree core spirit that was battling the Undying Bird Shadow was also affected. As the Death Ghost Tree's energy continued to drain, its strength grew weaker and weaker. It was barely able to resist the Undying Bird Shadow, and its attacks were completely suppressed. Scram if you don't want to die. Otherwise, don't blame me for starting a massacre. Yi Qinfeng warned coldly as he took away the Golden Eagle King's demonic core and looked at the frightened greater demons that were retreating. After witnessing Yi Qinfeng instantly killing the Golden Eagle King, all the greater demons present were stunned. They did not doubt his warning and retreated out of Qingshan Village. However, the changes in Qingshan Village were very strange. Many bold greater demons did not leave. They hid in the distance and watched. They want to know what secrets were hidden in the village. Chaos Divine Wood, we have no feud. Why do you want to destroy me? The Death Ghost Tree roared in panic after its energy was mostly devoured by the Chaos Divine Wood. Its attacks could not harm the Chaos Divine Wood at all. Yi Qinfeng was unfazed by the Death Ghost Tree's roar. He continued to control the chaos divine wood to attack. As the death ghost tree lost a large amount of energy and its branches fell off, cracks appeared on its body. The undying bird's shadow suddenly exerted its strength and destroyed the tree core spirit. The destruction of the tree core spirit dealt a fatal blow to the death ghost tree. Its resistance grew weaker and weaker. In the end, the chaos divine would devour its remaining energy and turned it into a lifeless tree. After devouring all of the death ghost tree's energy, the chaos divine would continue to grow. The chaos energy in its body grew stronger and stronger. Its strength was close to that of the strongest low-grade ancestral artifact. After the chaos divine would destroy the death ghost tree, Yi Chenfeng hesitated for a moment. He left the primitive embryo of Dao outside and charged into the chaotic Qingshan village. Let's go in too. Seeing that Qingshan village was gradually regaining its peace, many bold demons also wanted to break in. However, when they approached, they were mercilessly slaughtered by the primitive embryo of Dao. Many powerful monsters were torn apart by the primitive embryo of Dao. This bloody scene frightened the other monsters, and they didn't dare to approach. Senior, if you believe me, I can avenge you. Breaking into Qingshan village, Yi Chenfeng saw the phantom of the undead bird begin to disintegrate and immediately shouted, "You are too weak." The undying bird took a deep look at Yi Chenfeng and said in a deep voice, "Furthermore, you are not a member of the demon race. You cannot inherit my inheritance." After that, the phantom of the undead bird disintegrated and merged into the 8 rugged rocks. The chaotic Qingshan village returned to its peaceful state. I knew that the immortal demon progenitor would not easily give away its inheritance. The voice of the demon spirit sounded in Yi Chenfeng's soul sea. So what if it doesn't give it away? I must get its inheritance. The inheritance of a peak-level demon progenitor was an incredible opportunity in the Void God realm. Even the Void God realm would be tempted. Yi Chenfeng was ready to carry out the last step of his plan. He would spread the news of what had happened here and use the demon race to open the immortal demon progenitor's inheritance and obtain the treasure. Although this plan was risky, it was the only way. Yi Chenfeng believed that with his current power, as long as the demon race's mighty demon progenitor didn't appear in the Void God realm, he could control the situation. This is my territory. I'll kill anyone who dares to have any ideas about this place. Yi Chenfeng hovered in midair and looked at the demon race's mighty demon progenitor who was hiding in the distance. He warned in an overbearing manner, "Damn it, this human is too arrogant. He really thinks that we demon race are afraid of him. Humph, someone will take care of him." Hearing Yi Chenfeng's warning, the grand demons were enraged. However, Yi Chenfeng's power and means shocked them so much that they didn't dare to say anything. However, what had happened in Green Mountain Village had spread like wildfire across the entire demon race and alerted the masters of the 3 demon regions. "Master, what happened in the village?" Seeing Yi Chenfeng flying over, Qiu Ling, who was nervous, immediately ran over and asked, "There's a big secret in your village, and the death curse in your bodies originated from this secret." Yi Chenfeng explained simply the death curse in your bodies should be removed now. Really? Qiu Ling and the rest were pleasantly surprised. Their ancestors had been tortured by the death qi for generations. Now that they knew that the hidden illness in their bodies could be removed, they were overjoyed as if they had been reborn. Almost. Yi Chenfeng nodded. He controlled the death spirit pearl to devour the death qi in Qiu Zifen's body and then observe the changes in his body. Just as Yi Chenfeng had guessed, after the death tree was destroyed, the death curse in the bodies of the residents of Green Mountain Village naturally disappeared. The death spirit pearl devoured the death qi in their bodies and removed the hidden illness in their bodies. They no longer had to worry about anything. If you believe me, you don't have to stay in Green Mountain Village anymore. Leave quickly. If you continue to stay here, you might die. Yi Chenfeng began to persuade them to leave after removing the hidden illness in their bodies. "Master, will you go with us?" Qiu Ling bit her lips and looked at Yi Chenfeng. "No, I want to stay." Yi Chunfeng shook his head and said, "Come, this interspatial ring is for you. The things in it are enough for you to rebuild your home. If you really can't leave this place, you can come back in 10 years. Master, will we meet again one day?" Qiu Ling held the interspatial ring that Yi Chunfeng gave her tightly. "We will meet again if fate wills it." Yi Chunfeng smiled and looked at Qiu Ling's charming face. He said, "Well, danger is coming. You should leave quickly." "Thank you." Qiu Ling knew that she and Yi Chunfeng were not from the same world, but she still listened to his advice and left with him. Where is the entrance to the immortal Taoist master's inheritance? Without any worries, Yi Chunfeng returned to Green Mountain Village and began to explore the 8 rugged rocks in the village. He had a feeling that the 8 rugged rocks were the key to finding the entrance to the immortal Taoist master's inheritance. However, he controlled the God-Eater brain to sense the rocks, but did not find anything special about them, let alone their secrets. I wonder if Qiu Ling's essence blood is useful? Yi Chunfeng thought. He took out the essence blood he got from treating Qiu Ling and the others and merged it into the 8 rugged rocks. Buzz, buzz, buzz. After merging with the essence blood of Qiu Ling and the others, the 8 rugged rocks suddenly changed. Beams of light shot out from the rocks and gathered above Green Mountain Village, turning into the shadow of the undying bird again. "Human Jr., are you still not giving up?" The shadow of the undying bird looked down at Yi Chunfeng and asked in a deep voice, "Senior, do you want to take revenge? If I can get your inheritance, I will definitely take revenge for you." Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and said as he withstood the powerful aura released by the shadow of the undying bird, "I didn't expect you to know about me." The shadow of the undying bird said, "But you are too weak. Even if you get my inheritance, you will not be able to take revenge for me. Senior, you don't have to be so absolute." Yi Chunfeng smiled and said arrogantly, "Well, if you can move me and show me your potential to take revenge for me, I can give you a chance." The shadow of the undying bird stared at Yi Chunfeng with its sharp eyes. It found that he was indeed different and changed its mind. "Okay." Yi Chunfeng agreed without hesitation. P.S. The public account has reached 1,000 users and updated 5 times. The picture of the immortal jade sky has been posted. If you want to see it, please add the WeChat public account, YLTY83. You can see it by clicking on the 8 barren characters. Read a better reading experience. Chapter 1723. Genius remembers love, go small in 1 second. I'll provide you with an interesting novel to read. All right, since you're so confident in yourself, let me see your potential. The undying bird flapped its huge wings and lowered its head to look at Yi Chunfeng as it spoke in a deep voice. "Senior, do you recognize this tree?" Yi Chunfeng summoned the Chaos Divine Tree and asked as it floated above his head. This is the undying bird in front of him was just a shadow. Without the complete memory of the undying bird, it did not recognize the Chaos Divine Tree. "This is the Chaos Divine Tree. Have you heard of it?" Yi Chunfeng asked in a low voice. The Chaos Divine Tree. The undying bird's shadow exuded a strong soul wave and said, "You said it's the Chaos Divine Tree, the number 1 divine tree in the universe." "Yes." Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, "There aren't many divine items that can kill the Death Ghost Tree. Moreover, the Chaos Divine Tree hasn't fully matured yet. The Chaos Divine Tree has appeared and is with you?" The undying bird's shadow said in disbelief, "Where did you get the Chaos Divine Tree?" "I'm sorry, Senior. This concerns my background and some secrets. Please forgive me for not telling you." Yi Chunfeng said mysteriously, "To be recognized by the Chaos Divine Tree, you do have the chance to reach the peak of this world. However, you're not from the Demon Clan. I can only give you part of the opportunity. I can't give you the core opportunity." The undying bird's shadow said after some thought, "Senior, I have a friend who is from the Demon Clan. Do you think he has the chance to inherit your legacy?" With that, Yi Chunfeng summoned the Chaos Divine Beast from the Chinquan realm. Chaos Divine Beast. The undying bird's shadow was even more shocked. The undying bird was very proud of its bloodline. Only the 5-clawed golden dragon, phoenix, and a few other divine beasts could compare to it. However, there was a legendary divine beast that was superior to it. It was the chaos divine beast that was born after the creation of the world. That's right. Yi Chenfeng nodded and said, Senior, you should know the potential of the chaos divine beast. Give us some time, and we'll avenge you. Junior, I really underestimated you. The undying bird shadow stared at Yi Chenfeng and said, Well, I can give you a chance to get my inheritance. But whether you can get it in the end depends on your talent and luck. Thank you, Senior. Yi Chenfeng was secretly delighted. Don't thank me yet. Before my true body died, I laid down many dangers in the land of inheritance. Not to mention you, even an ordinary ancestor-level expert might lose their lives if they enter. So, if you want to obtain my true body's inheritance, you'll have to bear a great risk. The undying bird reminded. Senior, I used the chaos divine wood to help you destroy the death ghost tree. Can you provide me with some convenience? Yi Chenfeng requested. Sure, I can give you 2 amulets, and these 2 amulets can help you block 2 dangerous attacks from the land of inheritance. As for the rest, I can't provide you with anything else. The undying bird nodded and said, Thank you, Senior. Yi Chenfeng said with a hint of joy. Well, now that the death ghost tree has been destroyed, my mission is over. It's time to open the land of inheritance. With that, the undying bird shadow looked up to the sky and let out a long cry. The terrifying sound spread for thousands of miles and shook the entire mountain. The next moment, the 8 rugged rocks in Qingshan village exploded and turned into 8 light balls. They flew into the depths of the mountain and opened the land of inheritance of the undying bird, which was hidden in the mountain. Well, Junior, I have opened the land of inheritance for you. Whether you can get the inheritance or not, I hope that one day you can avenge me and destroy that hypocrite, the golden-winged rock king. The undying bird shadow said. Okay. Yi Chenfeng nodded and agreed. By the way, Senior, I have another question for you. Rumor has it that when you fought with the golden-winged demonic ancestor for the position of the demonic king, you had an absolute advantage. Why did you suddenly lose? I didn't expect you to know so much. The undying bird shadow said in surprise. Well, since you want to know, I'll tell you. Back then, I had the chance to kill that hypocrite, the Golden Rock King. However, I didn't expect that the Golden Rock King would secretly collude with the divine race and set up a dangerous situation to severely injure me, causing me to lose everything. In the end, I was killed by the death ghost tree bit by bit. The divine race. Yi Chenfeng raised his eyebrows and said in surprise. He didn't expect the divine race to interfere with the demonic race. Could it be that the chaos of the demonic race in the void god realm is related to the divine race? Suddenly, Yi Chenfeng thought of something. Well, Junior, these 2 protective talismans are for you. You can go to my land of inheritance. Remember, my land of inheritance will only be open for a year. If you can't get the final inheritance within a year, the land of inheritance will be closed. This time, it might be closed forever. After saying that, the undying bird's entire body turned into a ball of light mist. 2 light talismans with reproduction Dao patterns floated down from the sky and landed in Yi Chenfeng's hands. Roar, roar, boss, you found the immortal demon ancestor's land of inheritance? The chaos divine beast stared at him in shock. Yes, my luck is not bad. I found the immortal demon ancestor's land of inheritance as soon as I arrived at the demonic race. Yi Chenfeng nodded. Then, boss, what are we waiting for? Let's enter the land of inheritance. I can't wait to know what kind of opportunity the immortal demon ancestor left behind in its land of inheritance. The chaos divine beast said excitedly. There's no rush. Now is not the time to enter. Although Yi Chenfeng had 2 life-saving talismans, he felt that these 2 life-saving talismans were not enough for him to obtain the immortal demon ancestor's ultimate inheritance. He wanted to borrow the demonic race's hands to explore the dangers of the land of inheritance. The aura at the entrance of the immortal demon ancestor's land of inheritance was too terrifying. It alarmed many great demons who came to inquire about the news. Soon, The news of a secret realm appearing in Green Mountain Village spread, attracting many great demons to take risks and enter the land of inheritance to explore the secrets inside. For a time, Green Mountain Village, which was rarely visited, became unprecedentedly lively. Many great demons with terrifying strength rushed there from all directions. However, the land of inheritance of the immortal demon ancestor was extremely dangerous. Of the more than 100 great demons who took the risk to enter, only 3 escaped in a sorry state. The rest had all died inside, scaring many great demons into giving up on the idea of entering. The demon ancestor is indeed a demon ancestor. After being dead for so many years, the things he left behind are still terrifying. Yi Chunfeng had left his soul imprint on quite a few great demons, allowing him to spy on the dangers of the land of inheritance. He had discovered that the land of inheritance was filled with ancestral formations, and the power of these ancestral formations could even kill an ordinary ancestral-level expert. About 10 days later, Yi Chunfeng felt a terrifying aura appear. This aura was so strong that it surpassed ordinary ancestor beasts. He suspected that it was a demon king whose strength had reached the 3-star demon god realm. The king of a demonic race is finally here. Yi Chunfeng, who was hiding in the universe realm, revealed a faint smile. He did not appear and continued to wait. Perfect anti-theft chapter. Please use the search engine to search keywords, read, and have a better reading experience. Chapter 1724. Geniuses remember, love go little in a second. Say, providing you with a wonderful novel to read. What's going on inside? The demon king, who was wearing a dark green robe, had a tall and straight body like a steel spear, a hooked nose, sharp eyes, and a 7-colored feather flashing on his forehead, stared deeply at the strange, undying land of inheritance, and asked coldly, reporting to the Peacock King, "It is very dangerous inside. There are many powerful formations. We were only a few thousand meters in before we were attacked by the formations. If the 3 of us didn't run fast enough, I'm afraid we would have died inside like the others." A great demon who was lucky enough to survive reported the dangers of the inheritance to Peacock King, one of the 3 great demon kings. Then do you know what kind of person left behind this secret realm? Peacock King asked with his hands behind his back. His eyes flashed with ferocity as he asked in a low voice, "I don't know, but judging from the dangers inside, the person who left behind this secret realm is definitely not simple." The great demon said, "Extreme Bird King, let your subordinates go in and explore the dangers inside. I want to know who left behind this secret realm." Peacock King ordered after pondering for a while. "Yes, Peacock King." A petite 1-star fey, immortal bird monarch in a 7-color dress with several colorful feathers on her head obeyed. She took out a flute and gently blew it, summoning a large number of fist-sized birds that flew into the undying land of inheritance at an extremely fast speed. Not long after, Extreme Bird King's expression changed slightly. She could feel the birds that flew into the undying inheritance dying one after another. She sensed danger. "My king, my birds all died after flying in about 3,000 meters." Extreme Bird King said with an ugly expression. Those birds were her children, and so many of them died at once. It made her heart ache. "Love go little say net, chew all dead? How dangerous is it inside?" Peacock King said with a pale face. "Extremely dangerous. Experts below the divine realm have no chance of survival after entering." Extreme Bird King said, "Come, you guys follow me in." The more dangerous a place was, the more likely it was to have great fortunes. Peacock King took a deep breath and led the 8 monarchs into the dangerous, undying heritage ground. He wanted to rely on his absolute power and methods to break through the dangers and seize the fortune. What a terrifying aura. Just who left behind this secret realm? Barging into the undying inheritance land, Peacock King immediately felt that the space here was different. Mysterious light patterns were flowing in the space, like maggots in the tarsal bone, constantly attacking them. However, the strength of the Peacock King's group of 9 was extremely terrifying. These light patterns couldn't threaten him at all. Very soon, They had penetrated several thousand meters and were blocked outside by a profound array. Your Majesty, this formation is very dangerous. Most of my birds were killed by this formation. Extreme Bird Monarch said with a serious expression. All right, all you back off. I'll break the formation. The Peacock King took a deep breath, and the dazzling feathers of the peacock appeared behind him. One after another, dazzling rays of light shot out and attacked the grand formation that was blocking the way. Rumble. Under the attack of the peacock feathers, countless formation patterns emerged and rapidly revolved above the grand formation, forming a whirlwind of light patterns that neutralized the peacock feathers' attack. Roar. The attacks of the peacock plume were continuously torn apart by the formation. The deep eyes of the Peacock King shone with an ominous glint. He raised his head and let out a long cry. A giant peacock appeared from his body, flapping its dazzling wings like a divine phoenix. It broke into the formation of the extreme gyration formation. Ka-ka-ka. Under the attack of the peacock's shadow, the extreme revolving array violently trembled, and a series of cracking sounds could be heard. Divine Feather Sword, break for me. When the peacock's shadow blasted the grand formation, the peacock feathers floating behind the Peacock King turned into rays of extremely powerful light, swords that could cut through the heaven and earth. They slashed into the grand formation, and the terrifying attack directly cracked the grand formation, forcibly breaking the first grand formation. Your Majesty is mighty. Witnessing the scene of the Peacock King breaking the grand formation, the 8 monarchs shouted in unison. Let's go. We will continue to go deeper. The Peacock King revealed a trace of a proud smile and continued to lead the 8 monarchs into the depths of the land of inheritance. Not long after, they encountered another extremely powerful ancient formation. The Peacock King attacked and broke it with all his strength. However, when breaking the second grand formation, the Peacock King clearly felt the pressure. Clearly, the power of the second grand formation was far beyond the first one, and this was just the beginning. All of you, observe the surroundings and see if there is any valuable information left behind. The Peacock King summoned a 5-color divine sword that floated above his head and ordered loudly. Yes, Your Majesty. The 8 monarchs obeyed and observed the surroundings, looking for any valuable information. Although no one had entered the undying land of inheritance before, the 8 monarchs searched almost every corner, but they were not confident in finding anything valuable. Soon, the Peacock King and the other monarchs were blocked outside by a terrifying grand formation. And this grand formation was like a heavenly canopy that sealed the entire land of inheritance. If they wanted to enter, they only had to break through it by force. When the extraordinary Peacock King, who had reached the pinnacle of the 3-star monarchs, summoned the 5-color divine sword to attack this heavenly canopy-like light formation, he suddenly felt the space tremble. A pitch-black feather floated down from the heavenly canopy-like light formation. Feather. Looking at the feather that fell from the sky, the Peacock King's pupils suddenly contracted into a dangerous pinhole shape. He felt a trace of dangerous aura from this feather. Just as he controlled the 5-color divine sword to attack this feather suddenly emitted an endless black light that swallowed all the light in the surroundings. In the next moment, this feather transformed into a huge blackbird. Its long cry shook the heavens and earth as it attacked the Peacock King with astonishing speed. Bang! This huge blackbird collided with the 5-color divine sword and immediately produced a terrifying rebound force that forced the Peacock King to take a step back. Let's attack together and destroy this blackbird. The Peacock King was not careless and immediately ordered the 8 monarchs to attack this huge blackbird together. However, this huge blackbird's speed was extremely fast, and its body had an extremely strong recovery ability. The Peacock King and the others worked together and attacked fiercely for more than 2 hours, but they were still unable to destroy it. 5 Elements Mountain suppressed the heavens and earth. In order to restrain the huge blackbird's unpredictable speed, the Peacock King summoned the 5 Elements Mountain and controlled it to release a powerful 5 Elements power. It suppressed this part of the world and forcefully restrained the huge blackbird. When a huge blackbird was suppressed by the Five Elements Mountain, the 8 monarchs tacitly attacked at the same time. The terrifying attack caused cracks to appear on the huge blackbird's body. 5 elements, sword of heaven and earth. When the huge blackbird was severely injured, the Peacock King deduced the 5 elements' power to the extreme and activated the 5-color divine sword's strongest attack. The sword split the space and slashed the huge blackbird's broken body, forcefully shattering it. Then, the Peacock King and the other 8 monarchs used their strongest attack at the same time and attacked the sky-like light array. They wanted to gather everyone's strength to forcefully break it open. However, when the attacks of the Peacock King and the other monarchs bombarded the light screen, an unexpected force was reflected from the light screen and reflected their attacks. Not good. The Peacock King and the others' faces changed slightly. They all summoned their defensive trump cards to defend themselves and resolve the crisis. Boom! 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 After a series of intense explosions, the Peacock King and the others were blown away by the powerful rebound attack. They fell more than 1,000 meters away and were severely injured. Perfect anti-theft chapter. Please use the search engine to search for keywords. Read a better reading experience. Chapter 1725. A genius remembers love go little in a second. Say, to provide you with interesting novels to read. The Peacock King is injured. A piece of shocking news exploded outside Qingshan village, shocking many big demons and setting off a huge uproar. The Peacock King was one of the 3 monster kings of the monster area. He commanded hundreds of thousands of big demons and was the most powerful in the monster area. Even with his strength, he was injured by the dangers in the secret territory. This made the big demons feel the danger and horror of the secret territory. For a moment, no more big demons entered the land of inheritance, and the atmosphere became tense. After another 3 days, a towering demonic aura appeared above Qingshan village. The aura was so strong that it shocked the big demons hiding in the mountains. Peacock King, I heard you were injured. A man in a dark golden robe with cloud patterns, a towering crown on his head, and a pair of black boots walked over step by step in the air. He had a bulky figure and a terrifying presence like a mountain. He spoke in a mocking tone. King Qilin, I didn't expect him to be here too. Looking at this man with a terrifying aura, many people recognized him. He was one of the 3 monster kings of the monster area, King Qilin. His strength was above the Peacock King, reaching the level of a 4-star monster immortal. The reason why the overall strength of the monster area was stronger than the Heavenly Clan and the Demon Clan was because of the bloodline of the monster clan. Whether it was the King Qilin, the Peacock King, or the Divine Ape King, who had not appeared yet, they all had the bloodline of the divine beasts flowing in their bodies. Their cultivation speed was much faster than the other clans. What does this have to do with you? The Peacock King looked at the King Qilin with hostility and said, Go in and try to break the restriction inside if you can. All right, I'll go in and take a look now. Let's see if this restriction is really that powerful, or if it's just an empty name. The King Qilin sneered. Under the furious gaze of the Peacock King, he entered the land of inheritance of the undying bird. He wanted to use his powerful trump cards and strength to break the restriction inside and obtain the great opportunity inside. Although the King Qilin's strength was stronger than the Peacock King, the undying bird was a peak monster ancestor. The ancestral formation she left behind was very powerful. The King Qilin led a few big demon kings to the light curtain-like restriction, but they were also blocked by the restriction. Looking at the sky canopy-like restriction in front of him, King Qilin summoned several trump cards to attack with all his might. However, the power of the sky canopy-like restriction was beyond his imagination. All the attacks launched by King Qilin and the other demon kings were all reflected by the light canopy-like restriction. After trying for a few days, King Qilin and the others, who were covered in wounds and looked terrible, returned to the land of inheritance without success. Come, let me guess. Did you break through the light screen restriction and enter inside? King Qilin looked at the heavily injured King Qilin and said mockingly, I think it's time to break the light barrier. Otherwise, it would be a waste of our extraordinary strength. Peacock King, do you want to die? If you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. King Qilin warned, gritting his teeth as he glared at Peacock King, who would provoke him in front of everyone. Yo-Yo, you're angry because of this? The Peacock King said sarcastically, do you really think you're the king of the demon realm and can do whatever you want? Peacock King, you forced me to do this. The demon territory was sealed because of the internal strife between the three demon kings. Looking at the Peacock King, who kept provoking him, the Qilin King was completely enraged. He roared furiously and slashed at the Peacock King with a pair of heaven-reaching axes that weighed hundreds of millions of pounds. Love, go little say, net, chew screech. An ear-piercing howl rang out as the Peacock King held the elemental sword in his hand to meet the attack with all his might. The moment he attacked, a huge peacock phantom appeared on his body and let out an angry howl at the Peacock King. Bam! The two heaven-reaching saint weapons collided with each other. The explosive force cracked the extremely hard space of the demon realm. Under the impact of the two's attack, the vegetation within a few miles of them turned into dust and drifted in the air. King Qilin, is this all you've got? After a head-on clash, the Peacock King's eyes shone with a cold light. His entire body suddenly expanded, and he let out an earth-shattering roar at the King of Qilin, exploding the heavy air and ruthlessly bombarding the King of Qilin's body. Although King Qilin's defense was extremely strong, he was still pushed back more than 10 steps by Peacock King's attack. He left several deep footprints on the ground. The big demons who were watching from afar were shaken to the core by Peacock King's attack. They were bleeding from their 7 orifices and were in great pain. Peacock King, King Qilin. It seems that the demon realm being sealed has something to do with them. Yi Chunfeng, who was hiding in the Qingquan realm, could feel the intense battle between the two demon kings outside the undying land of inheritance. He smiled faintly and continued to wait patiently. The current situation was what he wanted to see the most. Only when the situation became more chaotic and all the demon kings of the demon realm arrived would they have a chance to break through the danger in the land of inheritance and let him enter safely. Although King Qilin's realm was higher than Peacock King had many powerful trump cards. In addition, he had a deep understanding of the 5 elemental Tao. He was not at a disadvantage in the fierce battle using the 5 elemental Tao. Peacock King and King Qilin were fighting fiercely. The sky was dark and the earth was dark. They were constantly destroying the Green Mountains. Many big demons were scared and retreated. They were afraid that they would be swept away by the destruction caused by their fierce battle and suffer a tragic accident. Just as the two demon kings were fighting fiercely without giving way to each other, several powerful demon chis appeared. The third demon king of the demon realm, the divine ape king who ruled the ape demon territory, appeared with several big demons. The appearance of the divine ape king made the two demon kings who were fighting fiercely to stop their attacks and look at them vigilantly. Why did you stop fighting? The divine ape king, who was wearing a phoenix pattern robe and had a graceful figure, exuding an invisible charm like a ripe peach, showed a cold smile and said, Divine ape king, do you want to reap the benefits without doing anything? King Qilin glared at the divine ape king and growled. So what if I do? The divine ape king sneered and said, If both of you are injured, I don't mind killing all of you. This way, the demon realm will regain its peace. You! King Qilin's eyes shot out thick flames of anger. Peacock King fell into silence and looked at the divine ape king with a cold gaze. All right, don't look at me like that. The divine ape king smiled and said fearlessly, If you guys are sure that you don't want to fight, let's talk about cooperation. Cooperation? What do we have to cooperate for? King Qilin said with hostility. Although I have not entered the mystic realm, I know that the danger inside is beyond imagination just by looking at you guys. However, the more dangerous the place is, the more likely it is to have a great opportunity. Therefore, if we want to get the opportunity inside, We have to cooperate to have a chance. The Divine Ape King suggested. Cooperation. The relationship between the three demon kings of the demon realm was not harmonious. They did not trust each other and had never cooperated before. However, they felt that the opportunity in the mystic realm was not to be underestimated. If they could get it, they might be able to use the opportunity to control the entire demon realm. All right, I agree with the Divine Ape King suggestion. Peacock King said after pondering for a while. I agree too. Let's wait until we break the restrictions inside before we snatch the opportunity with our own abilities. King Chilin also agreed in the end. Since all of you agree, let's wait until all of you recover from your injuries and enter together to take a look. The Divine Ape King revealed an unfathomable smile as he landed outside the entrance of the mystic realm and waited patiently. Reading, a better reading experience. Chapter 1726. 3 days later, the three demon kings led their subordinates into the undying land of inheritance and worked together to break through the dangers of the undying land of inheritance. The three of them were the absolute overlords of the demon region, and they had powerful trump cards. With the help of many demon beasts, they broke through the layers of restrictive spells like a hot knife through butter. Even the restrictive spell that blocked their path was broken by their combined efforts. After breaking through the sky screen restriction, the three demon kings did not slow down. They controlled their respective treasures and continued to break through the restrictions of the undying land of inheritance. They slowly moved towards the core area of the restriction. When the time was right, Yi Chunfeng did not wait any longer. He quietly left the universe realm, changed his appearance, and quietly entered the undying land of inheritance. He followed the three demon kings and went deep inside. The undying demon ancestor had a deep understanding of the space rules. Using the powerful space power, he opened up an extremely vast space. The three demon kings spent a lot of effort and spent more than a month, but they were still unable to go deep inside. However, when they broke through the restrictions, they obtained many ancient sacred items of heaven and earth. They also guessed that this secret manual was left behind by an ancestor-level expert. After another month, the three demon kings and the other greater demons worked together to break through an extremely powerful ancestral formation. The scene in front of them changed greatly. A black castle appeared in front of them, swallowing all the light around it and emitting a strange aura. Castle. There's actually a castle here. Looking at the castle that swallowed all the light in the distance, the demon king's eyes lit up. This made them believe that the inheritance here was definitely left behind by an ancestor-level expert. There was definitely an earth-shattering treasure in the castle. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. An ear-piercing sound of something breaking through the air rang out. The three demon kings raised their speed to the peak and rushed towards the Black Castle. They wanted to break through the restrictions that enveloped the Black Castle and enter to snatch the treasure inside. When they broke through the first restriction like a hot knife through butter, they suddenly stopped, and their expressions changed greatly. They discovered that under the huge gates of the Black Castle, there were 12 men wearing black armor and holding spears. They were emitting a thick aura of death. Just by looking at them, the three demon kings could feel how terrifying they were, especially the aura of death emitted by their sacred mountain, which made them feel suffocated. What a terrifying puppet. Just what kind of great figure left behind this opportunity. Looking at the 12 black-armored men in the distance, the three demon kings said with a solemn expression. However, they could not give up the treasures in the Black Castle. Even though they knew it was dangerous, they did not retreat. You go and test their strength. King Qilin waved his hand and ordered one of his subordinates to test the strength of the 20 black-armored puppets. Yes, yes. King Qilin's subordinate gulped. Although he knew that it was dangerous to test the waters, he was even more aware of King Qilin's methods. He had no choice but to bite the bullet and slowly approach. Buzz, buzz, buzz. When he approached the 12 puppets, they all opened their eyes at the same time. Rays of cold light shot towards him, making him feel as if he had been pierced through. He couldn't help but shiver as he felt a chill from head to toe. The great demon sensed danger and instinctively tried to dodge. However, the death chi that permeated the 12 black-armored puppets suddenly condensed into a surging black stream that broke into the great demon's body. The great demon's body shattered, and his tough Yao core exploded. How terrifying! The strength of these 12 puppets is probably at the peak of a 6-star demon god. After witnessing the strength of the 12 black-armored puppets, the 3 demon kings' faces turned gloomy, and they did not dare to act rashly. All right, stop hesitating. If you want to obtain the great opportunity inside, do you think is possible without paying a price? Peacock King took a deep breath and said, all right, attack with the ancestor statues. The ancestor statues were the last resort that the demon race in the Void God world had given to the 3 demon kings. They were also their trump cards, and they rarely used them. Once the power of the ancestor statues was depleted, they would lose their greatest reliance. The 2 demon kings might take the opportunity to annex their forces. However, at this very moment, after witnessing the strength of the 12 black-armored puppets, they knew that they had no choice. They had to summon the 3 ancestor statues and borrow the power of the ancestor statues to kill the 12 black-armored puppets. Puff, puff, puff. The 3 demon kings spat out a large amount of blood essence and fused it into the 3 ancestor statues that they had summoned, activating the 3 ancestor statues. Waves of terrifying ancestral aura spread out from the ancestor statues. The aura was so strong that it instantly suppressed the aura of death from the 12 black-armored puppets and shattered the seal. Ancestor statues. I did not expect the 3 demon kings to have such a trump card. Looking at the ancestor statues that were floating in the air and releasing powerful ancestral aura, Yi Chun-Feng, who was mixed in the crowd, revealed a trace of surprise. Ancestor statues, destroy them for me. The 3 demon kings shouted in unison and ordered the activated ancestor statues to grow bigger and bigger. With powerful ancestral aura, they attacked the black-armored puppets. Kacha! The 3 ancestor statues shone brightly. They took a step forward and directly shattered the solid space. With powerful ancestral aura, they flipped the entire space and annihilated the 12 black-armored puppets. Buzz! 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 Sensing the danger of the 3 ancestor statues, the 12 black-armored puppets immediately joined forces to attack. Streaks of sharp spear light pierced through the void like dancing black dragons and fought fiercely with the 3 ancestor statues outside the Black Castle. The 12 black-armored puppets were refined by the immortal demon ancestor. Not only did they have shocking attack power, but their defense power was even more terrifying. However, the 3 ancestor statues were the last trump card of the 3 demon kings. Their power exceeded the limit of the god tier and reached the ancestor tier. The 12 of them joined forces and resisted the attacks of the 3 ancestor statues for a while. However, as time passed, the strength of the 3 ancestor statues was gradually revealed. The terrifying attacks completely suppressed the 12 black-armored puppets and caused cracks to appear on their solid black armor. Seeing the 12 black-armored puppets being destroyed by the 3 ancestor statues, suddenly, streaks of black light shot out from the depths of the Black Castle and entered the bodies of the 12 black-armored puppets. They quickly repaired their broken bodies and supported them to continue fighting the 3 ancestor statues. What? Seeing the scene in front of them, the faces of the 3 demon kings darkened. After fighting fiercely for several hours, the consumption of the 3 ancestor statues was obvious. If they still could not destroy the black-armored puppets, the consumption of the 3 ancestor statues would be even greater and greatly weaken their foundation. What are you waiting for? Quickly attack and destroy the 12 black-armored puppets. The 3 demon kings ordered loudly with gloomy expressions. They ordered their subordinates to attack the black-armored puppets together. Under the simultaneous attacks of more than 100 demon kings, the 12 black-armored puppets' injuries became more serious and more cracks appeared on their black armor. Seeing that they were about to be destroyed by the combined forces of the demon kings, streaks of black light shot out from the black castle again and entered the 12 black-armored puppets' bodies. They repaired the cracks on their bodies and supported them to continue attacking. Damn it, let's cut off the space together. Seeing the black-armored puppets' bodies being repaired by the black castle again and again, the 3 demon kings were furious. They summoned a large number of array flags and merged them together to form a powerful defense array, forcibly cutting off the connection between the black castle and the 12 black-armored puppets. Boom, boom, boom. The intense fighting sounds became louder and louder. When the 12 black-armored puppets were destroyed by the 3 ancestor statues and the demon kings for the 3rd time, the black light released by the black castle was blocked by the array formed by the 3 demon kings. Destroy. Chapter 17:27. Phew, we've finally destroyed the 12 black-armored puppets. The 3 demon kings heaved a sigh of relief as they looked at the shattered pieces of the black-armored puppets scattered all over the ground. 3 ancestral statues push open the city gates. Time was of the essence. The 3 demon kings immediately controlled the 3 ancestral statues to push the huge black city gates together. Relying on their absolute strength, they broke the seal on the city gates and pushed open the city gates that had been sealed for countless years. What a strong aura! The black city gates were pushed open by the 3 ancestral statues. A strong and ancient aura spread out from the black castle. Walking into the black castle, the demon kings immediately took out moonlight stones to illuminate the entire castle. They realized that there was a large yellow formation floating in the castle. Powerful formation patterns flowed on the surface of the formation. In the middle of the formation, there was an ancient formation flag with a large black bird engraved on it. That flag looks like the undying bird. Could that be the demon bird royal flag of the undying demon ancestor? Looking at the formation flag floating in the yellow formation, the eyes of the 3 demon kings who had lived for countless years lit up. They vaguely guessed who had left behind this secret realm. If that's really the demon bird royal flag, then this secret realm might be the land of inheritance left behind by the undying demon ancestor. The excited peacock king said softly, "The land of inheritance of the undying demon ancestor." The ape divine king and King Chelan were even more excited. The undying demon ancestor was almost the emperor of the demon clan. His strength was only a step away from the empty god realm. Legend had it that the undying demon ancestor had 3 treasures: the demon bird royal flag, the undying wings, and the life and death plate. The demon bird royal flag was a supreme grade sacred weapon, while the undying wings and the life and death plate were ancestral weapons. There was also the immortal demon ancestor's immortal inheritance superpower. Even the empty gods were envious of it. If they could learn it, it would greatly increase their foundation. Let's work together to break the ancestral formation, then take the demon bird royal flag with our own strength. What do you think? King Chelan's eyes flashed with a fierce light. All right, the formation that sealed the demon bird royal flag was extremely powerful. They had to gather the strength of all the demons to break it. Ape Divine King and Peacock King had no choice but to work together. Since no one has any objections, let's work together to break the formation. After saying that, the Peacock King, the Ape God King, and the Chelan King summoned their respective treasures and attacked the ancestral formation that sealed the demonic bird imperial flag. They wanted to use their absolute power to break it open. Buzz, buzz, buzz. After being attacked by the 3 monster kings, the yellow ancestral formation suddenly emitted a light that was even more dazzling than the sun, illuminating the entire divine palace. It was so dazzling that people couldn't open their eyes. Withstanding the blinding light, the 3 monster kings summoned their respective divine treasures and attacked fiercely, trying to break a hole in the ancestral formation. However, the power of the array left behind by the immortal demon progenitor was extremely terrifying. The attacks of the 3 demon kings were unable to threaten the earthen yellow ancestral array at all. They continued to shatter and were unable to damage the earthen yellow ancestral array at all. Screech! The Peacock King looked up to the sky and let out a long cry. A huge peacock shadow appeared behind him. He leaped up high and used a powerful demonic technique, wanting to shatter the rapidly spinning ancestral patterns. All of a sudden, more than a dozen arm-thick ancestral runes shot out like lightning bolts at the Peacock King. These terrifying attacks destroyed the Peacock King's attacks and destroyed the Peacock Phantoms that tried to stop them. PFFF. Although the Peacock King managed to dodge the attacks of the ancestral runes with his strange movement technique, the ancestral aura that permeated the divine palace still injured him. A large amount of blood spurted out from his mouth as he fell heavily to the ground. The Peacock King was injured. The Ape God King and the Cheelan King's expressions changed slightly. They stopped their attacks and distanced themselves from the terrifying formation, giving up on the idea of breaking it by force. Sensing that the yellowish-brown ancestral formation in front of them could not be broken by brute force, the three Monster Kings had a discussion and gathered all the Monster Kings who had studied formations in their respective factions to study this grand formation and find an opportunity to break it. At this time, Yi Qinfeng didn't enter the Black Castle. Instead, he went to the back of the castle to study the God-Eater brain. He sensed a powerful restriction. Space-swallowing bug. Quickly bite through this restriction. After studying it for a few days, Yi Qinfeng summoned the space-swallowing bug and ordered it to bite through the restriction. He wanted to enter the Black Castle from the back to seize the treasure. Master, this restriction is very powerful. I'm afraid it will take some time to bite through it. The space-swallowing bug transmitted a message when it sensed the terrifying restriction. It's okay. With their strength, it will take even longer to break the ancestral array and seize the treasure. We should have enough time. Yi Qinfeng said. Days passed by. Yi Qinfeng hid behind the Black Castle, guarding the space swallower bugs that were constantly tearing at the restrictions. Meanwhile, the great demons that the three demon kings had gathered to break the formation had also rushed to the Black Castle, using all of their abilities to study the ancestral formation, looking for an opportunity to break the formation. Soon, a month passed. In this month, the space-swallowing bug had bitten through a gap that was half a person's height in the restriction at the back of the Black Castle. It brought Yi Qinfeng into the Black Castle from the inside and quietly entered the second level of the Black Castle to see the second ancestral array. In this ancestral array, there was a statue that had gone through the vicissitudes of time. Its surface was mottled, its eyes were as sharp as swords, and it had a pair of black wings on its back. Undying wings, the undying demon ancestors' undying wings. Looking at the statue in the ancestral array, Mo Ling floated out of the demon's sealing sword and looked at the black wings greedily. Mo Ling, what is the level of the undying wings? Because of the ancestral array, Yi Qinfeng couldn't sense the level of the black wings and asked. The undying wings is a treasure that the undying demon ancestor refined using its own wings. Its level is definitely an ancestral artifact. If you can get the undying wings to recognize you as its master, ordinary ancestral experts won't be able to catch up with you. Mo Ling told Yi Qinfeng what he knew. Ancestral artifact. Yi Qinfeng was clear about the power of the ancestral artifact. It could be said that the ancestral artifact was a top-notch treasure in the Void God world, second only to the Void God artifact. It had the terrifying power to destroy everything. If he could get the undying wings, even if he went to the Void God world, there wouldn't be many people who wanted to kill him. I must get the undying wings. Yi Qinfeng decided inwardly. Mo Ling, do you have a way to break this ancestral pattern? Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and asked, Kid, you think too highly of me. This is the ancestral array left behind by the undying demon ancestor. How can I break it? Mo Ling rolled his eyes at Yi Qinfeng in an extremely human-like manner. All right, I'll think of a way myself. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and sat cross-legged beside the ancestral array. He controlled the God-Eater brain to quickly deduce, looking for an opportunity to break the ancestral array. What a profound array structure! When Yi Qinfeng controlled the God-Eater brain to break the array, he realized that the array structure of the ancestral array was extremely profound. It was difficult for the God-Eater brain, which was constantly evolving, to understand it. Chapter 1728. Time flew by, and 2 months passed quickly. There were still 7 months before the undying inheritance land closed. After 2 months of comprehension, the God-Eater brain had figured out the structure of the ancestral array. However, the power of the ancestral array was too terrifying. Yi Qianfeng did not dare to act rashly. He still patiently controlled the God-Eater brain to deduce, looking for the best opportunity to break the array. The great demons of the demon clan who had studied the array for 2 months also found the opportunity to break the array. However, when they found the opportunity, they tried to break the array, but they were attacked by the ancestral marks. In an instant, 3 great demons of the array who could not dodge in time were killed and turned into a cloud of blood mist. Damn it! It's been 2 months and I still can't break this array. King Qilin said angrily as he couldn't break the ancestral array. Do you think it is so easy to get the inheritance of the undying demon ancestor? The charming divine Ape King glanced at him angrily. King Qilin said coldly, "That's right. The undying demon ancestor is the most powerful ancestral demon of the demon clan. If his inheritance is so easy to get, this ancestral array is fake. Moreover, even if you break the array, the demonic bird royal flag will not belong to you." Peacock King retorted, This demonic bird royal flag must be mine. Whoever dares to touch it will be killed without mercy." King Qilin snorted and said domineeringly, "Is that so? Then let's see who the demonic bird royal flag belongs to." Peacock King was not afraid of King Qilin at all. Although the charming divine Ape King did not speak, her determined eyes showed her determination to snatch the demonic bird royal flag. It could be said that the demonic bird royal flag determined their fate. No matter who obtained the demonic bird royal flag, they could use the power of the demonic bird royal flag to suppress the other 2 great demon kings and unify the demon realm in the most chaotic situation of the demon clan in the Void God realm. Just as the 3 great demon kings were waiting to break the ancestral array and snatch the supreme sacred artifact, demonic bird royal flag, the God-Eater brain finally found the best opportunity to break the array. Demon spirit, lend me a hand. Finding the best opportunity to break the formation, Yi Qianfeng abruptly opened his tightly shut eyes. He ignited his powerful bloodline and instantly raised his strength to the limit. Borrowing the power of the demonic spirit, he activated more than 300 ancestral marks, the way of equipment manipulation. Then, Yi Qianfeng executed the Tao of weapon control and slashed at the formation. The terrifying sword might slash through the layers of ancestral runes, creating a gap in the formation. Primitive Tao embryo seized the immortal wings. Although the ancestral formation was broken, Yi Qianfeng didn't rush into the dangerous ancestral formation. Instead, he summoned the primitive Tao embryo and let it enter the ancestral formation to seize the immortal demon progenitor's wings. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Once the primitive Tao embryo entered the ancestral formation, it was immediately attacked by countless ancestral patterns. However, the primitive Tao embryo's body was extremely tough, and the ancestral patterns couldn't harm it at all. Chaos Divine would suppress the ancestral formation. In order to reduce the pressure on the primitive Tao embryo, Yi Qianfeng summoned the Chaos Divine Wood and controlled it to grow bigger. It floated above the ancestral formation and extended a large number of 5-colored roots into the ancestral formation. It attacked the ancestral patterns in the ancestral formation and forcefully weakened the power of the ancestral formation. Taking advantage of the Chaos Divine with suppressing the ancestral formation, the primitive Tao embryo appeared beside the immortal statue. It hugged the statue tightly with both hands and pulled it out of the ancestral formation. Boom, boom, boom. In the process of bringing the immortal statue out of the ancestral formation, the primitive Tao embryo was bombarded by the ancestral patterns. Even with its indestructible body, It couldn't withstand it, and cracks appeared. Fortunately, the chaos divine wood was constantly helping it to dissolve the pressure. In addition, Yi Chen-feng was fiercely attacking the ancestral formation with a demon sealing sword in his hand. Finally, the primitive Tao embryo paid a heavy price to bring the undying deity statue out of the ancestral formation. Black Divine Stone. This statue is actually made of black divine stone. This is too extravagant. Looking at the immortal statue, Emo Ling once again floated out of the demon's sealing sword and circled around the statue twice. Black God Stone, a top-grade crystal used to forge ancestral artifacts. God Eater had an introduction to the Black God Stone in his mind. The Black God Stone was an extremely precious crystal in the Void God world. Not only did it contain powerful energy, but it was also extremely hard. It was one of the main materials to forge ancestral artifacts. I didn't expect you to have such knowledge. You know about the Black God Stone, Mo Ling said in surprise. Such a large piece of black divine stone. If brought to the Void God realm, I'm afraid you can exchange it for quite a few good treasures. Not to mention, this black divine stone even has a pile of ancestral artifact-level wings. Immortal wings. Yi Chen-feng slowly walked to the immortal statue. He bit his finger and squeezed out several drops of essence blood into the immortal wings, trying to make them recognize him as their master. Suddenly, the immortal statue's eyes shot out millions of rays of light, piercing towards Yi Chen-feng. Yi Chen-feng's pores stood up in an instant as he instinctively defended. But the moment he defended, the immortal wings moved. Like two black heavenly wheels, they cut through space and slashed towards Yi Chen-feng, wanting to cut Yi Chen-feng's body into pieces. At this critical moment, Yi Chen-feng crushed the life-saving talisman given to him by the immortal bird. It formed a strange power in front of him that dissolved the immortal wings' attack. Chaos Divine would suppress. Yi Chen-feng did not retreat. Under the protection of a life-saving talisman, he summoned the Chaos Divine would to suppress the immortal statue. Then he kept spitting out primordial blood into the immortal wings, trying to make them recognize him as their master. Primordial blood? You actually have primordial blood. Suddenly, a deep voice sounded in Yi Chen-feng's soul sea. In the next moment, a soul shadow with a bird's head and covered in black light appeared in his soul sea. It gave off an unparalleled feeling. You are the immortal demon ancestor. Spying on the invincible soul shadow in his soul sea, Yi Chen-feng did not panic. With the God-Eater brain, he was not afraid of any soul. I didn't expect you to know me, the immortal demon ancestor said. It seems that you are not a nobody. Can you tell me where the primordial blood flowing in your body came from? My father gave it to me. Yi Chen-feng pondered for a moment, but still told the truth. Because the immortal demon ancestor was already dead and only a remnant soul was left, he was not worried that the immortal demon ancestor would spread his secret. Moreover, he had a feeling that the primordial blood might be able to move the immortal demon ancestor and make him give him the inheritance. Your father, where did he get the primordial blood? The immortal demon ancestor continued to ask. The ancient road of the stars. Yi Chen-feng said. The ancient road of the stars. It's really there. The immortal demon ancestor was born a long time ago. Not only did he know about the ancient road of the stars, he had also entered it before. However, he was unlucky and did not obtain heaven-defying items like the primordial blood or the chaos divine wood. He only obtained the life and death plate and the life and death origin. However, with the help of the life and death plate and the life and death origin, he created his own inheritance and became the absolute overlord of the demon race. Junior, other than the primordial blood, what else did your father get from the ancient road of the stars? The immortal demon ancestor asked with a strong interest in Yi Chen-feng and his mysterious father. The chaos divine wood. Yi Chen-feng said, the chaos divine wood, the number one divine wood in the universe. The immortal demon ancestor produced a strong soul fluctuation. Wait, the chaos divine wood you're talking about is the five-color divine wood that suppressed my sculpture in the outside world, right? That's right, that's it. Yi Feng nodded. The primordial blood and the chaos divine would actually appeared in the same person at the same time. Could it be? The immortal demon ancestor fell in a deep thought. Junior, if you promise me one thing, I will give you the immortal wings. Senior, do you want me to avenge you? Yi Feng said. That's right. As long as you swear to avenge me and kill that hypocrite, I will give you the immortal wings. The immortal demon ancestor nodded. All right, deal. Chapter 1729. Junior, I believe that you will definitely be able to kill that hypocrite Golden Pung to avenge me. However, you must be careful of Supreme Emperor Heaven. If Golden Pung is in trouble, you might lend a hand. After Yi Feng made the oath, the undying demonic ancestor revealed a satisfied smile and solemnly reminded him. Supreme Emperor Heaven. Who is that? Yi Feng had a limited understanding of the various races in the Void God world, so he didn't know who Supreme Emperor Heaven was. Supreme Emperor Heaven is the patriarch of the Imperial Sky race. He has controlled the Imperial Sky race for countless years. Although he rarely appears in the Void God world, his strength is enough to intimidate the various races in the Void God world. The person who injured me back then was also him. Many thanks for Senior's warning. I will be careful. Yi Feng nodded and said, Oh right, Senior, may I know how to obtain your undying divine ability? The undying divine ability and life and death plate were sealed by me at the top of this castle together with my skeleton. However, if you want to obtain them, you must obtain my skeleton's approval. However, you have the primal chaos divine wood and grand mist blood, so you will definitely be able to obtain my skeleton's approval. All right, Junior, I have given you the undying wings, and my mission is over. I hope that you can fulfill your promise and destroy Golden Pung, returning the stability of my fiend race. After saying that, the undying demonic ancestor's phantom resounded in Yi Feng's soul sea, and Yi Feng returned to reality. Undying wings merge. With a thought, Yi Feng summoned the undying wings, which he had dripped his blood on, and merged them into his body. If it was an ordinary person in the Tao Lord realm, it would be very difficult for them to refine the undying wings. However, Yi Feng had the Grand Mist blood. Borrowing the Grand Mist blood, he easily established a connection with the undying wings and stored them in his body. He controlled the Grand Mist blood to quickly refine them. At the same time, the Fiend region's great demons used all their skills and finally found the best opportunity to break the formation. After finding the opportunity, the three great Fiend Kings didn't hesitate and summoned the powerful ancestor statues. Borrowing the power of the ancestor statues, they attacked the ancestral formation and forcibly tore cracks in it. The demonic bird emperor flag is mine. The Qilin King roared and unleashed all of his demonic chi, transforming into a gigantic Qilin shadow. It trampled the space and rushed towards the ancestral formation, wanting to snatch the demon bird royal flag. You are courting death. Killing intent flashed in the eyes of the Peacock King and the Divine Ape King. They controlled their powerful trump cards to attack the King of Kirin, not giving him a chance to snatch the demonic bird imperial flag. But King Qilin's speed was too fast, and the timing was perfect. In the blink of an eye, he got rid of them and rushed into the broken ancestral formation, reaching out to grab the demonic bird imperial flag. The moment he touched the demonic bird emperor flag, a huge black bird appeared from the demonic bird emperor flag. It roared into the sky and flapped its black wings, attacking King Qilin. Die for this king. King Qilin's reaction speed was extremely fast. He held the red blood sacred axe tightly with both hands and slashed at the big black bird at a close distance, blocking the attack of the big black bird. Boom! King Qilin's red blood sacred axe collided with the big black bird's sword wheel like wings. Endless sparks surged in the ancestral formation, and the terrifying power bombarded King Qilin's body, forcing him to retreat. The moment King Qilin was pushed back by the big black bird, the Peacock King, who was in hot pursuit, had a fierce look in his eyes. A huge peacock shadow appeared on his body. Great five elements soared. In an instant, The Peacock King deduced the Tao will to the extreme. He slashed out a sword that contained the 5 elements of heaven and earth, breaking through the chaotic space and slashing at King Qilin, who had lost control of his body. He wanted to take this opportunity to kill him. Qilin blood fat. At the critical moment, King Qilin used his final trump card. His entire body turned crimson red, and a powerful bloodline power burst out from his body, pushing his strength to the next level. In an instant, he surpassed the 4-star Demon God Realm and reached the 5-star Demon God Realm, resisting King Peacock's attack head-on. Divine Ape King, what are you waiting for? This is the final moment to kill King Qilin. As long as we kill him, everything here will belong to the two of us. The Peacock King shouted at the Divine Ape King. His expression changed slightly as his great 5-element sword was blocked by King Qilin's absolute strength. Sky upholding staff. The Divine Ape King tightened her grip on the pitch-black staff that was engraved with a dragon. Her enchanting eyes burned with a raging fire. She let out a roar and attacked the King of Qilin, who was surrounded by enemies from both sides. The two of you are courting death. A huge Qilin shadow appeared on King Qilin's body. He stepped on the void and charged towards the Divine Ape King like a shooting star, blocking her ferocious attack. Screech, screech, screech. Just as King Qilin was fighting the Divine Ape King and the Peacock King, an ear-piercing screech came from the demonic bird emperor flag. The big black bird flapped its wings and swept up an endless gust of wind, attacking King Qilin, who was closest to it. The terrifying attack forced King Qilin into a desperate situation. Qilin 8 direction / In this dangerous situation, King Qilin increased his attacking power to the maximum. He burned his demonic elixir and deduced a powerful Tao will. He waved the red blood sacred axe and kept splitting out powerful axe shadows to block the attacks. He wanted to break out of the encirclement and escape. Berserk. After smashing King Qilin's 8 direction / the Divine Ape King immediately turned into the strongest berserk state. He held the black divine staff and attacked King Qilin like a towering mountain, not giving him a chance to break out of the encirclement. Qilin blood fat burned completely. King Qilin was enraged as his injuries continued to worsen. He roared in anger and burned the Qilin bloodline to the maximum extent. He continued to stimulate his own potential and waved the red blood sacred axe to attack King Qilin with all his might. He shook off the Divine Ape King's attack and tore the black wind apart. 5 elements mountain smash. While King Qilin was using his absolute strength to break the Divine Ape King's attack, the Peacock King opened his mouth and spat out a mountain shining with 5-color divine light. It fell from the void and smashed towards King Qilin. Upper-grade celestial holy treasure. King Qilin's face changed when he felt the destructive power from the 5 elements mountain. He poured all his demonic power into the red blood sacred axe and used all his strength to resist the 5 elements mountain. Boom! There was a loud explosion. The moment the two treasures collided, it created a terrifying destructive power. It shattered the ancestral runes in the ancestral array. In addition to the attacks of the 3 ancestral statues, the ancestral array that sealed the demonic bird royal flag was about to be broken. King Qilin, stop your futile struggle. Accept your death. After injuring King Qilin with the 5 elements mountain, the Peacock King continued to control the 5 elements mountain to attack. He wanted to kill King Qilin while he was injured. Just you wait. I swear that I will destroy both of your forces and make you regret what you have done today. King Qilin wanted to retreat as his injuries worsened. He used all his strength to resist the attacks of the 5 elements mountain and looked for a chance to break out of the encirclement. Screech! Just when the situation was reversed and King Qilin was seriously injured, the demonic bird royal flag suddenly flew out of the broken ancestral array. It shook in the void and formed a terrifying force. It disrupted the space and swept towards the 3 monster kings. The terrifying attack sent them flying. Chapter 17:30. Oh no, the demonic bird emperor flag wants to fly away. Looking at the swaying space, The demonic bird emperor flag, which was releasing a shocking power, looked like it was about to fly away. The three demonic bird kings' faces changed drastically. They gave up on killing each other and controlled the ancestral statues to suppress the demonic bird emperor flag, wanting to snatch it away. Screech. However, the demonic bird imperial flag had its own consciousness, and even though it was being suppressed by the three ancestral statues, it continued to flutter its wings, conjuring up terrifying blackbird phantoms that attacked the three ancestral statues, weakening their attacks. The demonic bird emperor flag must be mine. King Qilin, who was severely injured, suddenly flew into the air and approached the demonic bird emperor flag with great risk. The moment he got close to the demonic bird emperor flag, his biggest reliance, the Qilin blood fat, flew out of his body and crashed into the demonic bird emperor flag under his control. Oh no, he wants to use the Qilin blood fat to force the demonic bird emperor flag to recognize him as its master. Seeing King Qilin's action, the ape deity and peacock king's faces changed slightly. However, it was too late to stop him now. They could only pray that King Qilin failed to recognize him as its master. However, the Qilin blood fat was a treasure refined from the ancestral blood of the Qilin clan. It contained a strong ancestral aura. When a large amount of Qilin blood fat was sprayed on the demonic bird emperor flag, the attack of the demonic bird emperor flag suddenly became sluggish. The swaying destructive hurricane no longer attacked King Qilin. This made the ape deity and peacock king's hearts drop to the bottom. The two of you, just you wait. When I recognize the demonic bird emperor flag as its master, I will personally twist off your heads and let you know the consequences of going against me. After establishing a tacit connection with the demonic bird emperor flag, King Qilin revealed a ferocious look. He looked at the ape deity and peacock king's eyes became terrifying. Let's go together. We must not let him recognize the demonic bird emperor flag. Otherwise, you and I will be in danger. Sensing the seriousness of the situation, the Peacock King and King Qilin flew into the air and attacked King Qilin with all their might. They wanted to kill him before the demonic bird emperor flag recognized him as its master. Qilin roared in all directions. As the Peacock King and the divine Ape King approached, the Qilin King's strong body suddenly swelled up and let out a shocking roar. Like a surging tsunami, it swept towards the two demon kings, not giving them a chance to get close. As for the great demon hiding in the distance, when he heard King Qilin's omnidirectional roar, he immediately felt his soul tremble. His head felt like it was about to explode. Break! Enduring the king of Kirin's 8 directional god's howl, the ape god king raised his attack power to the maximum. He held the black stick tightly and smashed it toward the terrifying howl. With a strike of the staff, a gigantic staff that was hundreds of feet long appeared in the chaotic hall. It tore through the terrifying roar and smashed towards the king of Kirin. However, under the attack of the 8 directional god howl, the power of the ape god's staff was greatly reduced. It was unable to threaten King Qilin at all and was deflected away by the red blood sacred axe in his hand. 5 elements, sword of heaven and earth. When King Qilin forcefully broke the attack of the ape god king, the peacock king's body turned into a ball of Tao intent that was rapidly deducing. Streaks of light, swords that were filled with the 5 elements of heaven and earth flew out. Every 5 elements light sword was able to destroy a low-grade heavenly saint weapon. The terrifying power made the great demon hiding in the distance tremble in fear. He quickly escaped from the hall. Boom, boom, boom. The Peacock King's 5 elements sword of heaven and earth clashed fiercely with King Qilin's killer moves in the void. The terrifying power caused cracks to appear on the coiled dragon pillars. Just as the two of them were using all their skills to kill each other, the ape god king threw out the black stick with all his might. It was like a black dragon that was baring its fangs and brandishing its claws as it attacked King Qilin. Seeing the ape god throw out the black stick that was filled with billions of pounds of force and piercing his chest, The demon bird emperor flag that was continuously fusing with the Qilin blood fat suddenly let out a long roar. It blocked in front of King Qilin and neutralized the black stick that the ape god threw out. The demon bird emperor flag is protecting its owner. Could it be that he really used the Qilin blood fat to make the demon bird emperor flag recognize him as its owner? Seeing the scene before them, the Peacock King and the Ape God King's faces changed drastically. They could feel the seriousness of the situation. If King Qilin really subdued the demon bird emperor flag, it would definitely be a devastating disaster for them. King Qilin would definitely take over the demon bird emperor flag and destroy them, ending their lineage. Ape God King, Peacock King, I've already said that this demon bird emperor flag will definitely belong to me. Looking at the demon bird emperor flag that was blocking in front of him, King Qilin revealed a sinister and arrogant smile as he spoke arrogantly. Not necessarily. Suddenly, a cold voice resounded in the chaotic hall. A sword shadow that was more than 10 times the speed of light suddenly appeared and slashed towards the complacent King Qilin at a speed that was hard to be seen by the naked eye. Who's that? King Qilin did not expect that someone would appear on the second level of the castle. He held the scarlet blood sacred axe and instinctively defended himself. Wong, at the moment when he defended himself, he felt an unimaginable force passing through the scarlet blood sacred axe and entering his arms. The impact caused his arms to feel severe numbness. His entire body was pushed back by more than 10 meters. Undying wings slash. After pushing back the severely injured King Qilin with a single slash, Yi Chunfeng controlled the undying wings that had just recognized him as its master to flap violently. It formed a series of extremely powerful wing slashes and attacked King Qilin. Although Yi Chunfeng's current strength would consume a lot of energy to use the undying wings to attack, he had an unlimited amount of Dao power after burning his Hongmeng bloodline. It was enough to cover the consumption of the undying wings. The undying wings was an ancestral artifact. Although Yi Chunfeng's current strength was still unable to unleash the true power of the ancestral artifact, an ancestral artifact was still an ancestral artifact after all. Its power was much stronger than a heavenly sacred artifact. Puffed, puffed, puffed. Although King Qilin had the protection of the demon bird emperor flag, he was still injured by the intertwining wing slashes of the undying wings. A large amount of blood spurted out from his mouth. The undying wings. That seems to be the undying demon ancestor's undying wings. Who is this person? Why does he have the undying wings? The Ape God King and the Peacock King were stunned by the sudden scene before them. Seeing Yi Chunfeng possess the undying wings, a huge wave of emotions surged in their hearts. Chaos Divine Wood. Suppress the demon bird emperor flag. When King Qilin was sent flying by the undying wings, Yi Chunfeng summoned the Chaos Divine Wood to suppress the demon bird emperor flag. After numerous transformations, the Chaos Divine Wood became more and more terrifying. Especially after devouring the Death Ghost Tree, the Chaos Divine would possess the might of an ancestral artifact and easily suppress the demon bird emperor flag. Ancestral artifact. Another ancestral artifact. Seeing the demon bird emperor flag being suppressed by the Chaos Divine Wood, the Ape God King and the Peacock King were even more shocked. The ancestral artifact was a treasure that only the Void God World had. It contained the power to destroy heaven and earth. They could not imagine that the seemingly young Yi Chunfeng actually possessed two ancestral artifacts. Hongmeng Blood, recognize your master. The moment the Chaos Divine would suppress the demon bird emperor flag, Yi Chunfeng spat out a few mouthfuls of Hongmeng blood and merged it with the demon bird emperor flag.